Microphone check, microphone check. Welcome to the One Life, One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have in my presence my third photographer on the podcast. He does more than just photography, but I had Estevan Oreo, I had Kenneth Capello, and now I have Mr. Brian Bowen Smith. Did I say your name right, Bowen Smith?
Yeah, you did, and that's some good company right
there.
Yeah,
you're the third one. But you do more than that. We'll get into that. But it was interesting because I did my deep dive on you. First of all, thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
You live from Syracuse.
Yeah.
I know only a few people from Syracuse.
Yeah, it's the armpit of New York.
Yeah. And when people think about New York, you think about New York City only,
Yeah.
but there's like Buffalo, Poughkeepsie, New Rochelle, Albany.
Yeah, they don't. It's like not even real New York. They think it's like, but you forget New York State's huge.
It's huge, man.
Huge, and even they say upstate. Upstate still is like Poughkeepsie and Rhinebeck and them. It's not even like Syracuse is like way upstate, but it's like I think it's like 3.5, 4 hours from the city. Like
the city, right? Buffalo's further.
Buffalo's, but it's the same up, and then you just go left.
Okay. Yeah. And how was it? You lived there most of your life?
Yeah, it was terrible. In so many ways.
You were a terrible kid, or just terrible living there?
Nah, just terrible living there. Like we had a pretty rough upbringing, and everyone that knows that is like when you add cold to those situations,
brutal,
and I'm talking. Like cold. Like
it's
people
really
were
cold
like,
there.
"Oh yeah, it's snow." I'm like, no. We get lake effect winds. There was days that we'd have snow days where it wasn't that snowy, but it was just too much wind chill factor.
Yeah, Chicago style.
Yeah, like it burns your face, like sunburn, wind burn.
Plus the border, that's Buffalo and Canada. Right?
Yeah, it's all right up there. It's that one little pocket of iceberg.
Yeah. So how were you as a kid? Do you have siblings and stuff?
Yeah, I got a bunch of siblings now. Thanks to 23andMe.
Oh,
I got another dad too.
I have to deep dive on that because I know I have some connections on there.
I got a story.
Okay, tell me.
For someone that wants to make a great movie. So I originally had I grew up with my sister Lisa, my brother Will, and my brother Keith. We were kind of like the main four. My mom, she was crazy hippie gypsy lesbian / nutty
sick
person.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Was it awesome?
And had always had foster children too.
Okay.
And so we had a big revolving door house, and it was a big old creepy, like it used to be an old schoolhouse. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's it was in the hood, and just it's a curse and a blessing when you grow up in a place like that, because I had so much freedom.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anyone telling me being at this time, do your homework.
Yeah.
They were like, just don't go to jail and don't get me in trouble.
Yeah. You're in the streets a lot.
We'll be good. Yeah, I was in the streets that's literally what. It's funny because, you hear the expression, like, I grew up on the streets. It's true because we were on the corner breakdancing. We were, in the park trying to, do backflips on mattresses. We were, and then obviously get into skating. When I finally got a skateboard, it was like, then you're like, never want to go back into your house. You're
never,
like,
man.
You find a good spot that has a good lit up street light, and you're like, you'll stay there until someone kicks you out.
And trying the same trick over and over again.
Oh man, to this day, I still can't understand how people can ollie 3 feet.
Yeah, me either. I was good ollies, but not the best.
I want to go down the street and ollie over anything that gets in my way, like a curb.
Not a fire hydrant.
Soda can, not a fire hydrant.
People do that though.
I don't have I've seen a dude ollie up on a fire hydrant, spin around, and then come off, and I'm like, this guy, like what? Skateboarding is one of the most incredible sports I think I've ever. And
it's crazy to call it a sport now too, because for us,
for us it was like this is something that was fun.
Really saved my life actually.
And I remember even back in the day, Tony Hawk and his team came to a parking lot and had that fold out ramp, and they were literally trying to make it a sport back then. Yeah. And it just never caught on much later. But I remember looking at him going, why is this guy like doing exhibitions? And why, I couldn't figure it out, because skateboarding wasn't a sport. It wasn't just something.
It's like a hobby.
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
And the better you get, the more chicks like you, and your dudes give you respect. And that's what it was. And you could just kill so much time. I'm being poor. If you've got a board, or if you got access to surfing or any sports oriented stuff, keeps your mind off being poor. Yeah. Keeps your mind off of hunger. Yeah. It keeps your mind off things that, and I think that, that's why I excelled at sports and this and that because it was like, oh, this is something to do.
Yeah.
Because let's even face it, like even nowadays, if I don't have something to do, I'm so bored
Yeah.
that I just know like nothing's good going to come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that stems from maybe I felt that way so much as a child that now I can relive those feelings, which is why maybe I stay. You know, I never thought about it till you just
Good point.
thought is that I don't like being alone and I don't like not having something to do because that reminds me of my childhood that I hated.
Interesting. Yeah, and skateboarding. I mean, with pre-internet, all that, we were just outside all the time. Like whatever we were into, we're outside always. Never barely
Always.
home for dinner. And my mom was raising 3 boys, trying to work a couple jobs to raise,
Yeah.
So we're out in the streets, but not like we're in the streets skating. We're doing stuff. We're like hanging, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
and people thought it's like these hooligans or
Yeah.
rough rats and like. I mean, I know I just acted like that, so people would think I was tough or crazy and like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
But I think it was out of just boredom and having something to do, and then the sense of accomplishment. You know, the first time I did an ollie, or the first
Amazing
time I
feeling.
did a little curb grind, you know, and you pull it off, you're like, everyone's stoked. There's no more. You're not cool anymore. You're like, octaves went up. You're like, oh my god, did you see that?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, then you're like, oh, let me go back to being cool now. But
It's an amazing feeling when you land your first skate trick, especially trying
and
it for so long.
it's, you know,
Especially the ollie.
yeah, and you know that equates to everything I've done in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that feeling of that adrenaline rush and that, even if no one saw it,
Yeah.
you know, you're going, you know, that movie Mid-90s was a perfect example.
Great
of
movie.
when he was outside and he finally did an ollie out in his backyard and
Yeah.
he had no one to share it with.
He didn't.
But he would, the amount of stoke, and he went to bed that night like it was Christmas.
Yeah. And you weren't filming stuff. It was in those moments back then.
No,
too.
yeah, you didn't have cameras.
I know.
I mean, it's so weird that I'm like, I mean, you know, you don't got no money. You're definitely not getting a camera, and you're definitely not paying for film and processing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know how I have any pictures. I don't have many as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I did actually,
Yeah.
but I really just don't. And I'm like, yeah, because we didn't have that shit.
And plus, you were living. So you said athlete too. I know online. I did a little deep dive on you. You were very athletic. Did you play a lot of sports at school and stuff?
I only, you know, I wanted so much to play football.
Okay.
Because we would play we would play tackle football, hardcore in the park, pick up games, and you know, and I got dealt. I mean, I was a small kid,
Yeah.
but I was stocky, and I never gave up. And you come at me, and I'm gonna stand there and lower my shoulder, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you know, people, when you know someone's gonna hit you, or
Yeah.
you know no one's afraid, it puts questions in people's mind. I guess. So
Yeah.
I was able to hold my own, and I wasn't a bad player, but I really wanted to play football. But my mom just wasn't having it, and you're too small, and you'll get hurt, and we can't afford to take you to the hospital, and
Yeah.
you know, and just literally that was it.
That was
So
it.
then, you know, and then I got into gymnastics in junior high actually from getting in trouble at school
Okay.
because everyone went to the gym after.
Nice.
And and I had this guy, Joe Keza, who he became my mentor in life and kind of a life coach and more of a father than anyone
Yeah.
ever, and put me on the right path. And I got addicted to gymnastics just like skating.
Wow.
First day I learned a trick, you know, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I want to learn how to just stand there and do a backflip because that freaks
sick.
out everyone.
Everybody.
3 days later, I had it.
Wow.
And the guy was like, yo, you've got to pursue this. Like you're a natural at this, and your size. And then, you know, then when I started doing that, the wrestling coach was like, yo, you've got to wrestle. Like, because there were different seasons, you know? And I'm like, I mean, this is somewhere to go after. And like, and then I'm like, sports, team. Like, I remember just being so stoked that I'm going to get a team suit, like a sweatsuit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me? I'm going to wear this thing every day.
So proud.
So proud and just cool. And you know, and then I tried wrestling, and I was so good because I have extreme claustrophobia.
Okay.
And I'm so small, but I won't let, and just from fighting growing up and my brother Willie trying to roll me up in rugs and because he knew it drove me crazy. But
Yeah.
he didn't know the extent of that. I'll stab him in his eye to get out of having that happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would never let anyone get a hold of me. Like, it's just, you get me in a headlock and I freak out to this day.
Okay.
I got into a fight one time in college. This big dude put me in a headlock and was just punching me on top of the head. It didn't hurt, but I'm like, I got to get out of this.
Yeah.
So I literally tickled him.
And it worked?
True story. He literally asked me in the middle of the fight, "Are you tickling me?" And I looked up and said, "Yeah." And then the fight broke up, and we were just like, he's like, and I was like, I kind of was laughing about it. He was just confused, and everyone was like, "Wait, what just happened?"
That's amazing.
And I'm like, so I guess that's one way to get out of an ass whooping.
That's incredible. That's almost like we're gonna fight and you start battling each other breakdancing instead.
Yeah,
I love that, man.
It's almost like what in the beginning when you start breakdancing is like, what do they call that? Like
top rocking.
Top rocking, yeah.
You're battling. Yeah.
It looks like you're about to fight.
It does.
Kick each other, but then you're like break down in the windmill.
Can you still do backflips now?
I had a dirt bike accident, and I shattered my right leg in 11 places and broke my ankle and all my toes. And so I had a pretty good reconstructive surgery.
Wow. So
I can't extend that foot.
Okay.
And I found this out at a party. That you in your mind, you're like, I got this. You know what I mean? Back everyone up, look out on the dance floor. And just when I went up, I knew it wasn't going to go good.
Oh,
but, backflips are like, you get hurt when you back out.
Yeah.
That's why they call them backflips. You back out of a backflip at any point, you're on your neck. And sure enough, when I went to jump, I knew that my right foot didn't extend, and I thought about it too much. I landed directly. I am so lucky because I landed directly on top of my head, like so up and down that it felt like just my neck compressed.
Yeah.
But I think if I was a little left or right, I would have broke my neck for sure.
That's fucking crazy.
Which would, imagine like paralyzed from trying to do a dance.
Horrible, man.
Old ass dad trying to do a backflip, and everyone's like, "Don't do it."
So you did it in front of a whole audience?
On the dance floor
wow,
at like a freaking big party.
That's the last time before I tried it.
Oh yeah, and then I got up. I'm like, I'm good, and I'm just looking at my wife. I'm like, I'm not that good. I was just so scared because I'm like, you have no idea, babe, how close I was to breaking my neck. Like, because it hit, it hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
That you could feel it, like, but it just went straight down.
Yeah. Like,
next day I had a little sore neck, but I was good.
Yeah, you're very lucky, man.
I mean, so lucky. And then it happened again. Surfing. I was surfing in Venice.
Okay.
And again, I don't like big waves because when you get held down, you freak out.
Yeah, I freak out.
And when you freak out, you lose your air and you're clawing, then you lose all your energy.
Yeah.
So I don't go out ever and surf anymore. That's like, I know I can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
But I love shore breaks because if I feel the bottom and I know I can push off, I feel safe.
Yeah.
So I was charging 2 feet overhead shore break in Venice Beach. And I'm like literally got barreled. I'm like taking off on everything with me and my buddy Mike and my friend Jeff. I take off on this one and I'm just like, I go over the top, over the falls, and I look and I go, put my hands over my head like this.
Yeah.
But again, didn't realize it was like 2 feet.
Okay.
And as soon as I hit the water, slammed directly, again, dead straight up and down.
Is that called scorpion kind of thing? Or
no, because my feet didn't even go. If that soft was sand, I would have went right into the sand. It would have been waist deep in sand.
Yeah.
And again was like, oh my gosh, like I could have broke my neck right now.
Again, yeah.
And then it's, and then I'm like, I need to slow down.
Slow down, yeah.
I need to fit, because you can't, you're not. And then what told me is I'm not responding like I used to. I was like a cat. Like I could fall out of a tree and roll it out, like parkour type stuff. You know what I mean? Because you just know how to fall.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's called air sense in gymnastics, where you're learning tricks by chucking yourself. We didn't have pits and stuff like that now, like no X Games, Woodward and all that. You literally thought about it. Then you have to chuck it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know where you are in the air.
Yeah.
You can't. You don't get lost in the air. So if you get flung or chucked, you know where you are, so you can kind of try to see how you can roll out of it.
Yeah.
Even if you're sideways, you hit your feet first, then knee, and you think about it as it comes natural.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it'd be like, some of the funniest moments in my life because I should have gotten just jacked and I just all of a sudden roll out and people are like, yo, how did you not just die right there?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you saw some of the footage on my Instagram, but I got hit by that ATV on my trip.
Oh yeah, I did see that as well.
I mean, I knew where I was in the air.
Wow.
And I knew that I was going to land on my back. And if you look at the thing slow motion, I'm like, I'm just letting it go. Because I knew I wasn't over where I'm going to land on my face or my head. Mm-hmm. So I just let it happen.
Yeah.
And it was like, that could have went so wrong. Like,
have you broken a lot of body parts?
Oh, yeah, everything. My wrist, like, look, I can't straighten my wrist. That's fused.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Right? Both pinkies. Broke this wrist, surgery there, snowboarding.
Oh, snowboarding too. Yeah, you do everything.
Oh,
wow,
yeah. I mean, once you're an athlete and you didn't get to do the things when you're little, you just want to do everything.
I know.
I mean, I still surf when I can. I still, I'll throw on my rollerblades when I can.
Oh, wow.
I'll
old school shit right there.
Yeah. I mean, what's funny is that, a lot of people, I always say skater because that's always the way I thought about it. But the correct term I believe is fruit booting.
That's what it's called?
That's what they called us. And, and
well, you guys were the enemy back then, the rollerbladers and the skaters.
And here's why, which a lot of people are like, I get it. You pay your dues. The reason why I became a rollerblader, the honest to God truth, is because I could do so much more because it was so much easier to learn.
Okay.
Now, trying to skateboard growing up, I understand the frustration if all of a sudden these rollerbladers came over and take over the industry.
Yeah.
Are selling skates and wheels like no other, making a shitload of money. Yeah. And skateboarding still a crime. Yeah.
Ooh,
they're gonna be pissed.
Yeah, and you come into their
they're
parks.
Gonna be bitter. You're coming to their parks. It's like nobody wants that. And but I mean, look, I had no problems having anyone make fun of me or do whatever. I was adrenaline junkie, getting my fix. Yeah. And and I'm like, I'm gonna go down this 100-foot handrail backwards. Wow. We were doing, and I was one of the part of a group that we were the first ones doing it.
Back then, yeah.
I mean, literally the first ones. We went on tour called the Hoax Tour and made a movie with my friend Evan Stone.
Wow. What year was that? Early 90s?
Early 90s, way early. And and that's how it kind of spread too. That movie came out and it was like, the world was like, whoa, what is this? And the sport, it was the fastest growing sport in the world. Rollerblading. And every company, because parents rollerbladed, everyone rollerbladed.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just for fun. And, it's goofy. But then all of a sudden, we were like, we copied skateboarding. Yeah. And this guy Arlo invented the grind plate. Okay. So we could go down rails, which is basically a truck version for rollerblades. Yeah. And then we realized you need smaller wheels in the middle. Okay. So that it would fit on the wheel, because the worst thing about us is you get your wheel caught, you go flying.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were like, how can we make it like a skateboard? So they kind of figured it out, and then and then big skate companies are like, wait, you're gonna develop an aggressive skate? I'm in. Here's all the money, and you're like, wait. All of a sudden, this guy's that was making these things in his garage is in a big factory. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And
That's
it's like,
amazing.
and there's a lot of animosity and jealousy towards that because, it's like, look. Whatever. I'm going to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to not do it because I don't think it's fair. I'm like, I think this is awesome. Yeah. And it gave people like me an outlet to, if you suck at skateboarding is a skill that not everyone, I don't care how much you practice, you're not going to be at the level of Tony Hawk. True. No matter what you do in your life, it's a gift. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where rollerblading was, you could get good fast and you could be good enough to where you could session and even be in a video. Yeah. Then there were rollerbladers that took it to another level. Like, especially now, I just actually went to an event and they're doing stuff that is just defying gravity. No, it's like, I don't care how much you don't like it. You got to respect it at this point because it's, it's the amount of risk that you take to get good is what makes athletes special. Mm-hmm. And then the amount of God-given talent with that is what makes athletes pros. Yeah. And I think there was a lot of pro athletes in my industry that we weren't pro because we were that good. Mm-hmm. We were pro because we were better than everyone else. Yeah. You know what I mean? And,
it's true.
But I'm like, there's room for boogie boarders. There's room for rollerbladers. There's room for everything in the world,
Did you BMX too?
Nah, I didn't have a bike.
Yeah.
But that was badass. BMXing was the shit.
It was. And for me in the 80s, like, was skateboarders against BMXers in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was this weird thing,
It's
almost
always
like
something
scooters
against
now.
something.
and-
Yeah, it's always something against something, which is why things never change.
Yeah. So
I wonder if like ballerinas had that, like,
ballerina beef with
you
somebody.
know, like ballerinas are fighting like, you know, crazy legs and back in New York.
Ooh, ballerinas versus breakdancers.
You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
think about that competition.
Damn. So you mentioned skateboarding. Were you into punk rock too growing up?
I was, you know,
Was that
I
kind
mean,
of came same hand in hand with it?
yeah, you know what it is that, again, I didn't go to my first concert till my older brother Willie. He went to Syracuse University.
Okay.
Now he was a gymnast too,
Okay.
and so I was following in his footsteps. And he was 3 grades above me.
Yeah.
And so he was going to Syracuse University, and one of his friends got him tickets to a concert,
Okay.
and it was Sheila E. and Prince.
Ooh. Wow.
I've never been to a concert in my life. I never even knew what like concerts were something you heard of.
Yeah, for sure.
But we didn't have like radio. We didn't have like I'm talking about. It was almost like living in the woods
Okay.
because you just didn't have access to all this stuff. So you weren't, you know, I've heard of it.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like I did karate at the Dunbar Center and I heard these guys rapping.
Yeah.
You know, like, yo, the Sugar Hill shit's it's on, and like, and then you know we'd go to the corner and I'd hear it.
Yeah.
And so I became. I mean, I was the only kid that was white in my neighborhood that could recite that whole album.
Wow.
And it impressed that you know, people were just like, wait, what?
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? And it was so cool. And then I had this guy Marty, we always said it was my brother because
Okay.
we skated together, we hung out together, we stole wood and built a huge half pipe in the field next to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he was in the punk rock scene, and he took me to this party once, and it was just this, you know, these guys to me that just looked like skinheads that just were just, I didn't understand a word they were saying.
Yeah.
There was people I thought were just fighting, which is now a mosh pit.
Yes.
I was so terrified and then so just in awe of
it,
like
yeah.
this, just like you guys just basically looked like you just like went to war.
Yeah.
And just had the best time of your life. Yeah. And I felt like you just went home. We're like, yeah, man, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And just get rid of some aggression.
Totally.
Get rid of some of this anxiety of growing up. It was almost like a therapy.
Totally. 100%.
Hardcore fucking therapy.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how I looked at punk rock.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah. And I'm like, man, I was like, Sid Vicious, like that dude's bad.
Yeah.
Like he's awesome. You know what I mean? And then I kind of was drawn between that and hip hop.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, just the way my life took the turns and this and that and where I was, that hip hop became, you know, my number one thing, and breakdancing. And now I stopped skating and was just breakdancing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, I was so good at breakdancing.
You do windmills and stuff?
Oh man, I was spinning on my head
I
before
need some
everyone.
videos. I want to see some videos.
We didn't have any.
Okay.
Think about that. Remember, there's
no
no
proof.
phones. There's no phones.
Yeah.
My friend Rob Sherrill can vouch for me.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, we did the whole thing. Got, you know, looked in the garbage for refrigerator, you know, big cardboard things.
Wow.
You know, on the corner, in between classes in junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I remember first time I was learning windmills, I smacked the shit out of my head on a locker. Just, you know, windmill crawled over and it was a corner hallway.
Okay.
And just, I remember just this loud noise and just kind of knocked out, but not knocked out. And just everyone just like with their hand over their mouth. And I'm like, oh, what happened? Like,
smack my head.
Man, you hit your head. And, you know, at school, you didn't want to get in trouble. So I was just 3 minutes later in class, just looking around like I didn't know where I was.
Oh, dazed
and confused. But
that's amazing.
But right back at it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my point is that I wish I would have gotten into the hip hop, the punk rock scene a little bit more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't, but always been a fan. They kind of were going one. To me, they were kind of the same of animal.
Agree.
I mean, just different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then obviously in my generation, when the Beastie Boys came out, it was a rap. I was like, man, come on. What's going on? Like, that's what I want to do. And I, me and my cousin, remember my cousin Tony, we thought we were on our way and we would make up these dumb raps and we thought we were so good until you like actually were in front of someone. Or I tried to battle someone once, and it was just,
Really?
oh man, I thought I was ready. I choked so bad. I was like the Eminem guy that never redeemed himself.
Okay.
They were just like, nah, man, don't.
Did you have a rap name?
Don't. Boogie B.
Sick.
I still like the name though, but
That's pretty sick though.
Boogie B.
You were battling. Wow.
Yeah, I tried. Listen, I say this loosely. I tried once on the corner because they were like, oh, I can recite Sugar Hill and make that sound great.
Totally.
But now I'm like, battling back then was like on, like, look at your shirt, and you make it up as
Super
you go.
freestyle. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I need to write it down and memorize it and hope I meet someone that's wearing a red shirt. You know what I mean? Then I'm like, oh, then you're done.
Oh man. And so you're living not too far from the mecca of all that, New York City too, man.
Yep.
Punk rock and hip hop, everything, man. It was like, how old were you when you went to Manhattan for the first time?
Right after I graduated college, and I failed 3 times, so I was like 20.
Wow. Failed college 3 times?
No, school. I failed kindergarten.
Really?
I didn't play well with others. Apparently, someone took my toy and I threw a block in him.
Oh my god!
And so I kind of got let go. So I missed a year.
Okay.
Then I failed 3rd grade math.
I hate math. I was never good at math.
I still ain't.
Me too.
Still not. Math, and then 6th.
Okay, 6th grade.
6th grade.
What was that for?
I think that's when I decided that school wasn't for me, and
6th grade.
6th grade is where I was about to let go.
Okay.
And get into some real trouble. Real trouble. And then I found gymnastics.
Yeah.
So 6th grade is the same
Okay.
time where halfway through the year too is when I discovered gymnastics.
Okay.
Which then I got told you have to pass.
Okay.
Or you can't be on the team. So I actually thought I was dumb my whole life. I'm just like, I'm an idiot. I'm never going to learn. And why do this? And smoking cigarettes and flirting with girls is so much better than any of this. It's just, that's what I was put on this earth to do.
Okay.
So then when I decided to take this gymnastics on, I had an outlet.
Yeah.
And I had something now to look forward to.
For sure.
And now I had to do things to get there. And the thing is, I had no problem making an easy transition. And I actually caught up half the year.
With your grades and stuff.
And ended up doing well in school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you had your goals, your passion to do the gymnastics.
Yeah,
So
it's
like,
like,
I'm gonna step it up.
like if you want to do this, you got to do this, so you can't do this.
Yeah.
So I got to do this.
Yeah.
You got it. Then and that's that rule that parents are supposed to teach you and help you learn at a young age.
Yes.
But when no one's there to do it,
got you.
It's like just literally fend for yourself.
It was like ultimatum, pretty much. Like yeah.
And someone gave it to you, and it was like, okay, so I guess. It was real clean cut.
Yeah, so gymnastics and wrestling.
Yeah. No. I only wrestled for once someone got a hold of me, I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
You're over it.
I'm like, I don't care to ever feel this feeling again. I really am like super claustrophobic, especially when I was little. Like to the point of like when people say something like, I never joked around. If someone's like, I'm arachnophobia, I don't like spiders, I'll never play a joke. And
no.
Like people don't know how real this disease can be. And for everyone, there's people that are like, I'm scared of big crowds. I'm like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Like right away, I'm so supportive because I know people can't fathom it. They're like, you won't go in this haunted house. I'm like, no. Nope. Not if there's, I'm like, I will punch you, your mother, your sister in the face if I get caught in the dark room and it starts getting smaller.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't feel like I literally lose all sense of reality and all sense of like, I will shield you with my child and then feel horrible about the rest of my life. But it's something that takes over where you don't think rationally. I understand how people lose their mind and kill 3 people and, say they were crazy and blanked out. And I'm like, not that I'm condoning it or saying that that's right, but I understand how people are like, I don't know. I just lost it.
Yeah.
Came in, he was on my wife. I lost it and things happened and I can't tell you. I'm like,
blackout.
When you have these episodes, you don't think of anything but escape.
Okay.
And the fear is like real fear. Your heart's pounding out of your chest. you can't like. I'd be the worst like spy. They'd be like, we're going to give you this, and you're going to tell us everything. I'll tell you right now. Do not waterboard me. I will tell you everything.
Yeah.
I'll take you there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Let me even get you there.
I don't know if I'm claustrophobic, but I have to have the bathroom unlocked on airplanes.
Yeah. But it might
Freaks
be
me out,
it
dude.
might be a thing of like if something happens, and this goes to my mind with bathrooms and airplanes. It's like
Can't do it.
If something happened and it crashed right now, would I get stuck in there? Which is weird. They're like, how can you go on an airplane? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of oxygen that they put in the thing.
Yeah.
I know that I'm gonna land. Like the only thing I would be freak out is that if I knew I was going down, then it's over. And then I'd probably lose.
But
it,
then
man.
maybe
I'm
a heart
sure.
attack. Who
I'm
knows?
sure everyone would, but my
Of
mind
course.
would be going in different directions.
Yeah, so you can't do the bathroom on the airplane either, kind of.
I can do it.
Freaks me out.
I just think about like you said, like what if the door got stuck right
Well, that's
now?
like it bounces or there's some turbulence and it hit my head. Like I literally hold the door while I piss. I have it so
That's
nobody
funny.
can pull it open on me. It's been my whole life. I cannot do it on an airplane. I don't know why. It is claustrophobic vibes.
It might be.
Yeah.
And you said you don't like getting held down too, so there's another
No.
there's another thing. I'm like, there's one thing
know.
about like losing your breath, but the fear of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not afraid of hitting a rock. I'm not afraid of how big the wave is.
Mm.
And I'm not afraid. I'm like, and this, to be all honesty, I love big waves. I love catching them. It's
Yeah.
so much more and easier to surf.
Yeah.
And you're on it. Like it's,
Yeah.
and you're going. Like if I didn't have claustrophobia, I might have ended up being, because I became friends with Laird Hamilton.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I was in the right circle to go, hey, come out with us today.
Wow.
And I had no fear.
Yeah.
So I would have been like, yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm probably pretty sure I would have at least surfed a real big wave at one point in my life had I not had claustrophobia.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a good thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd probably be scared of the undertone, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all like, even on little days, it's like my friends make fun of me because they're like, there's always an outside set that surprises you. And they'll look over, and I will just be like buckets of water, just paddling to make sure I get over it. And I get over it like by 20 feet, and they're like, "Bro, relax.
Yeah.
You're good." And I'm like, "I know, I'm good."
I can't. Yeah, I do. I tried surfing my son because he surfs really well, but he's way out there. I'm like in the whitewash. Like I don't like my feet dangling.
Yeah.
Some sort of fear of the ocean. For
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, look, there's then just sharks. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But one of the most beautiful, peaceful, meditating things I think I'll ever do is surf.
Yeah. Is it weird? It is a magical connection. When I first stood up on my board last year, only a couple of times.
Oh, so
I did
you're
it.
just in.
Yeah, last year I
yeah.
tried it. Yeah, and I stood
Oh.
up. I was like, oh, it's so different than skating or
Oh.
snowboarding or anything. It's like Mother Nature is controlling you and bringing. It's hard to explain, man.
I mean,
It feels
the
amazing.
feeling. Yeah, you're floating on water, and
Yeah.
the ocean is allowing you and giving you this tool, and then when you become in sync with it, and it's every time you paddle back out, and I know you got this feeling that you paddle back out, and you're like, did you see that? Like in the stoke it never really goes away
I
because
know.
every good wave that you get, you still get that same feeling.
Same thing. It's the same high.
Yeah, you're like,
100%.
because waves aren't, now it's so crowded in the water
It's
that
crazy,
you'd be
dude.
lucky to get 2 or 3 waves. And then if you get a good wave,
Yeah.
I mean, even unless you're going to like destinations where you're like going to a perfect point break and
Yeah.
I'm going to get a great right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a couple,
Mm-hmm.
but beach breaks are like, they don't come like that.
They don't.
No, you stand up, you get a couple hits maybe, and then you're off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's, all the public beaches where we go. It's like that. And then
There's
some
so
days
many
you go
people.
out and you're like, oh my God, no one's out. And it's perfect.
Yeah.
And you and your friend are like, you can't get your wetsuit on fast enough. And you're running to the beach. And I'm like, I'm 50 years old and I still do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, what else is like that?
Nothing really. Yeah. My son goes every day, almost twice a day
That's great.
before school. He's out there. The one thing I don't understand is I wish there was more colorful wetsuits because my son always has me come to film him. And it's just a bunch of looks like
Where's
human,
the yellow body
human
glove?
seals. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't see him.
I literally
He's waving.
said the same thing. Like, make the chest,
suit.
make them all different colors. And
know.
you're like, my kid's red.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least
I
you
know.
can see him out
Oh,
there.
no. It's hard. And if you don't got a big telephoto lens, like I try to film my kid, and I'm like, I got the dopest picture of you. He gets home, zooms in. He's like, Dad, that's not me.
I did that before
And I
too.
was like, oh, dang, that was a good one.
I filmed some random dude with a shaved head the other day, and he's like, "That's not me." I was like, "Oh man, you were shredding."
Yeah.
It's so hard to see
It
that
is.
though.
Yeah, especially like, I don't know how old you are, but my eyes are getting worse. And I'm like, it's funny.
So in school, you're doing all this stuff, but was photography on your radar in school?
You know, I did a shop class and a
Okay.
photography class.
Gotcha.
Shop, I got a B+. Photography, I got an A. Those are the only two. Everything else in my life were D's and C's.
Wow.
I've never got a better grade. So
What grade was that?
I was probably in, I think I was in 10th grade.
Okay.
And shop may have been 9th grade.
Okay. What do you
And,
mean shop? Like,
You know, wood shop.
Wood shop,
Building
okay,
things.
yeah, yeah.
Like I built a birdhouse.
Sick.
I think I built a table. But never
Damn.
worked with wood and never worked with like precision and saw and like to see how things come together like that. It's the first time I've ever experienced it.
Okay.
And I didn't think, oh, I can't do it. And then all of a sudden I had my birdhouse and I was like, oh man, this is a hotel for birds. Like this is sick. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And I have a big infatuation with birds too. So I've always, you know, I don't know why. So it kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that still, you know, when I was little, you know, make this brief, but my grandmother, who I only met a couple times, but my mom took us over to her house a couple times, and
Okay.
she had like a rad little house and it had a backyard.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't ever see. I was like, I thought she was loaded. It was
Okay.
probably a 2-bedroom, nothing like, but in her backyard, she had hundreds of birds. Like there were blue jays, red
Okay.
birds, squirrels. She would feed them
Okay.
every day. So it was like a sanctuary. They would land on her arm.
That's
Like
awesome.
she was into it. The squirrels would come in the house.
Wow.
And as a kid, I was like, this is the only zoo that
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I just remembered these
They-
birds. Seeing a cardinal up close
Yeah.
on your grandma's arm was like,
That's amazing.
it's beautiful.
It
And
must
like,
have made you think your grandma was also like this.
oh, I
magical
thought she
being.
was. Yeah, I wish that, you know, I had the opportunity to spend more time with her and my grandpa.
Yeah.
Because every time we went over there, we got a great meal. And, you know, grandpa used to play the piano. And I remember they used to sing.
Okay.
And it was just awesome. It was like being like, oh. But I think we only went there like 4 times in my life.
Whole life.
And then they both passed away. And then
Wow.
mom wasn't talking to them or something. I just know they just disappeared. I was like,
And they probably live close to you guys or no?
I mean, it wasn't that close.
Okay.
But it was probably logistically now it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But back then seemed like
So far away.
so far away.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really go I mean, we very rarely had a car that worked.
Wow.
So when you did have one, it was usually my stepdad's pickup, and we'd all be in the back, and
yeah.
20 minutes in the back of a pickup at night, it's freezing. Yeah, it seems long.
Yeah.
But that's how it was back then. It was all good. But so infatuation with birds.
Okay.
I always was, you know, and then my neighborhood, they didn't have blue jay. They just, you didn't see stuff like that. So I thought
Yeah.
it was such a magical moment, and then
Only at grandma's.
only at grandma's.
Yeah.
And that's where they lived. You didn't see them anywhere else. And so, I've always had this infatuation that birds understood me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
The
then,
connection with them.
yeah, you crying in your room, you look out a window and you feel like my life isn't worth living. And all of a sudden a pigeon lands there
Wow.
and looks at you. And it's almost like you had a connection where he's saying,
Moment.
he's like, yo, I got your back.
Wow.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And it's like when you're, I guess, young, you kind of, any kind of attention or affection, which is why I always wanted to be around people.
Yeah.
Always wanted to have a girlfriend. Just that love
yearning
that
for
I
that.
never.
Yeah.
It's addicting. It's like a drug. You know what I mean? And it wasn't the most healthy thing in the world to
Yeah.
be that needy, because when you didn't have it, you were double depressed.
Gotcha.
And then when you got it, good, you started questioning why. How come
Do I deserve this?
Do I deserve this? And,
Yeah.
and why did I get chose in this life to not have this? Like, and is it ever
Heavy.
am I ever gonna have it like my friends' parents and
Yeah.
their relation? Like, I'm not gonna have that. Like, it's already in high school. Where am I gonna get it?
Yeah.
Unless I start my own family. And then I
Interesting.
wanted to have kids since I was in high school.
Wow.
Like, my high school girlfriend was like, I got pregnant. I've been like, let's
do
go.
it. Yeah.
Let's get a job. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been mad at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who thinks like that?
Especially
As a
that
kid.
young. Yeah. But that was something you're yearning for. Something you didn't have in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Were you very outgoing? Had a lot of friends in
Oh
school?
my God, I'm still the same way.
Class clown kind of.
Yeah, it's like when I got married to my wife, I'm like, people were even talking, shit about like, he's crazy and he's not faithful and he's not this and that. And, and they tried to put me under the bus. I mean, my wife is super good catch. And I think everyone know, and a lot of her friends didn't want her to get hurt and this and that. But I mean, when I met her, I told her, I said, look, I want to be this end game. You know what I mean? And like, if you're not ready, let me know and I'll just move on.
Yeah.
And what you hear about me is true. So, and so she was like, someone told her something and she was like, I know, he told me.
Okay.
Like, I'm good, girls. If it's anyone that's secure and knows their crap, it was my wife.
Yeah.
But, it was just funny that, and she still to this day is like, she knows that I'm so needy. And sometimes she checks me.
Yeah.
Which is why I love her, because she doesn't feed into it and let me get away with anything. You know what I mean? She checks me and lets me know when I'm being a little bit, I'm not in my lane right now.
Okay.
Which is great, which is why I started thinking about how maybe sometimes it's great and then sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Are you a super emotional person too?
I cry at American Idol.
Me too.
Like,
I cried This Is Us. All these shows. Yeah. Dude. Especially when you become a dad.
Yes.
And you didn't really have a good dad relationship or something growing up.
I cried this morning.
Wow.
You want to know why?
Why?
Looking at my Instagram feed, and there was a girl whose husband was in the war and surprised her at work, and her reaction. And there, and
I've
you're
seen
just
stuff like that before.
You're like that. You just can feel that moment and just the realness and her tears. Like, it's just affection. I get also mad easy if I can see someone's mad and I know why they're mad.
Okay.
I guess it's an emotion. Oh
yeah.
my God, your dog is literally the best.
I know. She's chilling.
But you got to see this. His dog is right next to me.
She's getting her belly rubbed.
Upside down with her arm up, and I've just been rubbing her belly.
She knows you rescue dogs.
Yeah,
she knows you're a dog lover. Just so I'm always an emotional person.
Yeah, and I love being emotional. And my kid, Jonah, he's the same way. He's always been emotional. And I always told him, I said, look, never, ever, ever feel bad about showing your emotions.
Yeah.
Show them. If you think you need to show them to someone, you always show it.
100%.
And it is 100% okay to cry. People who don't cry have things bottled up inside.
100%.
And eventually it catches up with them.
They explode. And
that when they explode and cry, it's rivers.
Yes.
And they get a good cry out, and they might be able to go another 10 years. I'm like, it is and it's great. And I'm so proud of Jonah. And he's also, he's just, he's a mix of me and his mother tenfold, but he's got a lot of me in him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's got a lot of me in him, and it's really cool too. Even like, he had a situation where his friend was, really bad abusing alcohol, and I couldn't believe it. And Jonah literally, was like, I need to help you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't cool. We need to get you help.
Wow.
How
old is he?
He's 16 now.
Perfect. It's awesome.
You know what I mean? But and he was like 14 then.
Wow. Super caring of his friends.
And came to me and Shay and said, I'm really worried and I need your help. Like, how do I help him and what do I do?
Okay.
You know what I mean? I thought, man, you came to your parents and they're like, you're going to tell on your friend.
Yep.
And that's like, but you're willing to risk everyone calling you a snitch or just to save this kid's life. Because you thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, and I literally grabbed him and said, don't ever change. And this is who you are.
I love that.
And this is why God put you on this earth. And let me tell you, you might have saved someone's life.
Yeah, you probably did. I love that communication. I have the same with my son. Just talk about everything and anything. And like you said, come for advice. All that's so important, man.
Yeah, we want them to know that, like, if you accidentally murder someone, you know what I mean? Come to us right away.
Yes.
Let's figure it out. And it's like, that's how hardcore I am about, like, I mean, say you accidentally, God forbid, accidents happen.
Totally.
You're at a party and something happens. Like, right then, come to us. Drive directly to us.
Yeah.
We will know what to do.
Yeah.
We will know what the best thing to do is. If something happens and you are involved, you can't run from it.
No, man.
You're not going to hide from it
Especially
ever.
this day.
No.
I mean, dude.
No, you're not getting away with anything. So
not ever.
We need to figure out, what the responsible thing, and you're not going to be thinking in your right frame of mind.
Not at all.
No one is.
No.
And at that point, it's like, this is where you're selfish and you just come to us.
Yeah.
You tell us what happened and we will know what to do.
Yeah.
I
love that, man. It's so important to have that trust with each other too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just know that we're there for you. Now, the rest is up to you. We're not forcing you. We're not, I'm not going to, he's like, Dad, I smoked weed. I can't believe, this. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I think you're wrong. And he's like, yeah, no, trust me, I'm not doing it again.
Oh, wow.
He got high with his friends and they were peer pressuring him. It was called wax.
I heard about this.
Wax is like some potent, like 10 times.
Is it wax pen or something?
Wax
something.
Man. I don't know. It's all these names I can't even.
Jewels and all this shit. Okay,
I don't do any drugs, so I don't know.
Me either.
But I guess he flipped out, like panicked. And then, his girlfriend of his, thank God she talked him off the ledge and was calming him down, stayed up with him all night.
Wow.
But he got a good scare.
Yeah.
But I'm like, good. I'm like, now you know. And I'll go 2 things. Just the other day, a kid tried a pill that was laced with fentanyl, and he dropped dead in front of his mother in his kitchen.
Wow.
Now, I don't even know if the guy who gave him the pill knew what was in that pill.
Mm-hmm.
Those comedians tried a line of blow.
I saw that.
At a party. 3 of them dropped dead instantly.
Yep.
I said, do not do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, let me help you.
Yeah.
If you're that curious, I will make sure. Because it's just, unfortunately, like my friend Jason was like, he heard someone say, I just wish we had some good old-fashioned heroin.
Wow. Because
he's like, people are dropping dead and you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, now it's scary in the sense that if I did do drugs, I'd be terrified to do drugs knowing that, like, hold on, what everyone's trying to make these things like so much more cheap.
Yeah.
They're trying to cheap on that it's killing people.
Yeah.
And
scary.
They don't care. They're like, all right, well, 3 people died. I got to figure out a new dealer, or I got to figure, about this. I'm like,
somewhere else.
How about just no one should do drugs anymore?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I guess? But like,
it's super scary, man.
Yeah. It's a scary world. And I everyone's like, you got such a good kid. I'm like, listen, no one is ever safe. I mean, you're, I don't know. I know you're straight edge. Right?
Yeah, my kid is too. My kid's never tried anything.
So
He's only
like,
one of his friends.
Yeah, and we have a mutual friend, Josh Brolin.
Yes.
Who, talks the importance of his sobriety and things like that. And it definitely keeps you aligned and and you hear stories, and even he got me into AA a couple. I think I've been drinking a little too heavy.
Okay.
And I enjoyed going to a meeting, and he put me onto it, and I'm not like, listen, we're never cured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still have a drink now and then, but I've definitely become aware of and have controlled. And some people may disagree with me about this, and forgive me if I sound like a dick for bringing it up, but like, I know I did some things when I was drunk that I'm like, oh my God, they could have went so bad. And, and now I'm like, I'm not doing that again. And I'm not.
Yeah.
And if I get bad, I'd be the first one to call them up and go to a meeting.
Yeah.
But thank God I haven't, and but it's like, there's outlets and there's things, and it's just a weird time that how drugs evolved.
Yeah, it's scary, especially for kids.
Skating and sports have evolved.
Yeah, and the peer pressure that's not just face to face at school; it's the peer pressure that's on their phones while they're at home.
Yeah, it's you're exposed to everything.
Everything, man.
Like even sex, like
everything. It's like in their face all day.
Yeah,
it's crazy. We didn't have that. It's crazy, man.
No, my wife told me, like, you need to have the talk with Jonah, because she's like, she knows you talking about it and hearing things, and he was not that old, and I'm like, all right, I'll have a talk with him, no problem. Mm-hmm. In the car on the way to school, I'm like, all right, so your mom thinks I need that. Oh, Dad, no, I don't need. I know, I don't need to have the talk. I'm like, we're having the talk. I'm not asking you, like, just you need to know, a couple things.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, he's like, Dad, I know what a threesome is, all right? Like, I know, and I'm like, no, that's what I was like. Wait, what? I want to know. You know what condoms are? And
yeah, exactly.
There's no pull-out method.
They're beyond all that. Yeah.
Yes, and and like. If you have sex in the butt, she's not still a virgin. Like all these crazy things that like we hear this stuff on the Instagram, and like it's just what are you talking? You don't know. You should not know this stuff.
But it's in their phones all day.
Oh,
like
of course.
TikTok, just all that.
And then
stuff.
like they're on looking at BMX stuff, and then you type in hardcore crash. First thing that comes up is like hardcore porn sites, and you can click on it. So and then you got to go through the filters and find out how my kid that's in 4th grade shouldn't be able to see this.
4th grade, yeah.
But it comes up and they target, and I'm like, man.
And then all their friends are on social media, different ages. And I remember my son was like maybe 14 or 15. He's like, just so you know, Dad, he's like, I'm inspired by you. I'm probably not going to try any drugs or alcohol. I don't care about it. I've never ate meat. You know, I never want to hurt animals. Like all that stuff are really my strong beliefs. But I do like women, and I want to start, you know, I don't know, experiencing women or like just dating. I'm like, awesome. So we had the talk, whatever. He was young. Nothing really happened to later on, but like he came to me like,
no, it's good that he's, and I'm like, and I told Jonathan, I said, first of all, if you like ask me, I'll tell you everything. Like, I'll give you, there's not really secrets.
No.
You know, but I'll let you know what's up, and I'll let you know how to approach things, and I'll let you know what happens in certain situations, because, you know, we've been there.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate to sound like that dad, but I'm like, listen, you think that we don't know.
Yeah.
You think I can blow your mind if you want me to. Like, I will let you know, you'll be like, oh, and then, you know, we have one, and he's like, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I'm like, I know. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's why. Here's what you do, too.
Yeah.
And then go do that and watch the response.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and he came home one day, and his mother's really good at it.
Okay.
And, you know, and I heard him tell her one day, like, you know, you were right. You were so right. You know, even his first heartbreak.
Yeah. You think that, they think that boys want their mom's opinions more in relationships than they
I don't know.
us?
I don't. I'm like, as long as one of them can give it.
Yeah.
But we've both been so open, and Mama Bear is so protective of him that she wants him to know everything in life so he can have the most chance at succeeding at it.
Love that.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, and and if one day he trusts her, and then a couple years later, then he starts talking to me, I'm like, as long as it's one of us.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's fine. I'm like, I'm not trying to get into a competition with my wife.
No, for sure.
Which one my kid loves more.
I know.
You know, I'm like.
But there's different advice I see. Like he goes to my wife, he goes to me about just different things. I love that, man.
And that's why you need two parents.
Yes.
You know.
And we're supposed to be the role model. That should be our job, is to be role models. Because if not us, it's gonna be somebody else.
Yeah, even if it's two dads. I mean, I know plenty of, you know, people that are gay, and it's the same in the relationships. They're going to bond towards one, and it's whatever, you know, it's just parenting, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everyone.
You just have one?
I've just got one.
Me too.
Really lucky too. We had a really hard time conceiving, actually.
Okay.
Took 2 years.
Wow.
And you know, and thank God, just when we were about to, like, I think she was feeling really subconscious, and it's hard on a woman, I'm sure, that can't get pregnant thinking it's her, and who is it, and so it was
me? Yeah.
Like no one wants to know that you both want this so bad, and because I can't, and it's like, it's not that at all. Even if it is, it's not. It's no one is holding you responsible, and I think that stress played a big part in us taking so long, and then finally I'm like, listen, we'll adopt. There's kids that need, like, I should have been adopted. Like, trust me, there's good kids out there that need homes, and we'll do whatever path that we're supposed to be on, we're going to be on it.
Yeah, totally.
So don't worry.
Yeah.
Then we got pregnant.
It's awesome, man.
So
it's crazy when you say that, when there's people out there like there are like some deadbeat parents out there didn't even want to have kids, and there's people like you try for 2 years.
Yeah.
They really want them, and people out there don't have good families, man.
Same with rescuing dogs and this and that. Like, everyone wants them when they're puppies, and then some people can discard them and throw them out of moving cars.
Like trash.
Like,
I know,
it's hard to believe sometimes humanity can be so cruel, because you don't want it to be that way. Yeah. And if you've been around violence or domestic violence or any kind of violence, even I still get sick to my stomach if a fight goes down.
I don't like watching it either, man.
I don't like it.
I can't even watch like UFC stuff. I just started watching recently because I was watching the boxing, but it's combined now with like two different fights. I never like seen all the violence. Maybe when I was a kid I could deal with that. Yeah. But they didn't have a wife or girlfriend.
I can do the UFC stuff because I know it's a sport, and I know that they're not literally trying to kill someone. Yeah. They're literally they're doing it as a sport, and there's a ref that stops you.
True.
When you go up.
It's not a street fight.
But street fights are like, I shouted out one day, I'm like, you're going to kill him. You're going to kill him. Like, and they just don't, and it's like, they don't stop, and you get this aggression, and everyone's egging you on, and I'm like, oh my God, you're
like the blackout stuff you talked about earlier.
And I know that then they're in court. Yeah. Crying like little babies in suits, acting like they're angels, and I'm like, no, you were just, you were just 50 Cent, talking like, you all this big shit. Now you wanted to kill him, and then you tried to kill him. Then the guy ends up in a coma. Yeah, like, are you surprised?
Yeah,
You know, and now it's, and I'm scared for my kid now to end up in a world where I'm like, don't talk shit to no one.
Yeah.
Don't ever talk shit. Walk away from fights. No one cares. At the end of the day, I've heard too many stories of accidents happening.
Yeah,
with
somebody
fights,
gets punched once in the face, it bang their head.
falls down.
Yeah.
It happens. Like, I'm like, here, look read this story.
Mm-hmm. Or the videos went viral. This random people punching old people walking down the street.
Oh my God, with the
it makes
bricks.
me crazy, man.
I'm like, how can I
want
don't
to snap.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you, and they're laughing.
And they're filming it. It's
It's a thing.
I know.
It's sad.
But I feel like all that goes back to how they were raised in the home and the love and all that stuff.
I mean, I know some parents that are doing so much, trying to do the right thing so
Kids
much.
get caught up.
Like, my theory is like, to any advice to kids, parents and people getting married and this, that, I'm like, never take any day for granted.
Yeah.
Never take your relationship for granted. Never think that you're so secure in your relationship you can do this and that.
Yeah.
Never think you can start talking to your wife like this or your husband like this because you think that what are you going to do? Divorce me? What are you going to, so it's a form of abuse.
Yeah.
And I check myself when I start taking aggressions out on my kid or my wife right away, because it's not fair.
I agree.
And I don't want him to grow up to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just also, I guess, you don't have control over anyone, even though you think you do.
Yeah.
Because once you're out there, here's a prime example. Like your feet dangle in the ocean. Once a fish goes away and he's in the ocean, he's a little fish in the ocean. Nobody can protect him. He has to learn how to protect himself.
True.
He's got to learn you can't go in this area where the big, barracudas are waiting to eat lunch.
Yeah.
And your mom told you never go over there.
Yeah.
And
it's
when
true.
you do it, just because Jack and Jimmy wanted to go over, you end up getting eaten.
It's like Nemo.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. Same thing.
That movie is an education on life, isn't it?
It's so emo too, that
Yeah.
movie. And that's real. That's a good point, actually.
Yeah. And it's like, I just always try to get people, friends, people I work with, my lover. You have to. You have to. When I said my lover, I meant my wife. I was like, wait, hold up. People are gonna be like, wait, his lover? Oh, Jim, he's a nice guy. But always try to convince people, like even in my career, like how do you you made it? So I'm like, I haven't made it yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying this to sound arrogant or stuck up. I'm very grateful for where I am in this point.
Yeah.
And I tell my agent Rick all the time, like, what do we got? He's like, Brian, you're in where you're supposed to be right now. Just keep doing that. Yeah. Don't try to make it, don't strive for more greatness. Just keep doing everything you do and just
love doing it
and do a great job at that. Let me handle the rest.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I always want it, if there's something that I can do better, I want to do it. Yeah. And I know that I'm not satisfied with where I am in my career right now. I want more. I want to do more. I want to do more. Maybe not. It's not being more famous. Yeah. It's not getting the I've shot every celebrity in the planet. So I don't. It's not that now. It's like, what do you do now? Yeah. Now I want to do stuff that's important. I want Leonardo DiCaprio to call me up and go, dude, I'm going to go on this trip to save the planet, and I want you to document it. Sick. And we're going to make a book. I would die.
That'd be amazing.
Like, that's important. That would be,
Hell yeah.
Come with, I'd be, all right, I'm not working for a month. I'm going away with Leo.
That comes with age and maturity, too.
And and it comes also with luck and just being the guy that he chooses.
Yeah, for sure.
To go do good for the world. Yeah. Because, listen,
but your work speaks for itself, so it's not just luck. It's like people love what you do, so they want to fuck with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then also it's like, I want people to remember how hard I worked to get to where I am. I know. And that I went through a lot of tribulations and trials, and I went through the same COVID thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were about to sell our house. Move out. And we didn't have any quarrels with it. Yeah. We were like, we have to do what we got to do. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it sucks, but like, I have friends that are so worse. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? We're still giving clothes to people. We were bringing food to banks, food banks, and trying to do what we can. And the reason why I did my book, to raise money to give to Feeding America, like donate. I'm like, I need to do what I can now, and this is what. If I have this gift and I don't use it, I'm a sucker, and I know that it'll backfire. Yeah. So I really believe that karma and paying it forward is going to help do the things that I still want to do in life. Yeah. And I'm not,
I love that.
I'm not out of the game. Hopefully I'm just starting
man.
the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to help people get in the game and show them and tell them exactly what I did. It's not a secret, and I'm not trying to not hold it back. So if I tell you, then you're just going to get good and then go ahead and take my job. I'm like, you should be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
That should be your mentality anyways.
Totally.
You want to knock me off the block and start getting my jobs. There's still a bunch of people that are trying to do that and that are doing that.
Yeah.
And I also don't get bitter when I lose a job to someone. You know what I mean? It's like that. You just didn't get that job.
Yeah.
You weren't right for it.
Just keep it moving.
Or things are changing.
Yeah.
And if things are changing, what am I really going to do? Call up Warner Brothers and go, why haven't you used me in a month?
Yeah.
How come you stopped using me? Did I do something wrong? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not what you do. It's like, no, we're moving on. What do you mean? Like we're choosing different shoots that have different styles and isn't that? And like I've had such a good run that I'm like, I gotta at some point in your mind, you gotta be ready for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have this, Mr. McPherson. He was with my same agency, and he's like, always told me like have a backup plan. And I'm like, Andrew, what do you mean? Like you're not gonna ever stop shooting. He goes, I'm never gonna stop shooting, but someday they won't want me anymore. And so you have a backup plan so you know what you're doing. Maybe it's fine art, which is,
I can see you doing that. Yeah.
I've got into that industry and now I'm enthralled with that. And it's a whole nother world that opened up.
Yeah.
And it's something like, oh, that's why I got into photography in the first place. I just got sidetracked and then got this amazing opportunity and went with it to do fine art.
Yeah.
So I was able to generate money, take care of my family. Then I have enough money now where I can start putting together projects on my own.
Yeah.
And that's what it was all about for me.
Yeah. You're your own boss. You're creating your own stuff.
Yeah,
Not work for anybody.
I want to do what's in my mind and heart that I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is that book.
Yeah.
Which is the fine art pictures that I've done.
Yeah.
And I've done 6 successful shows, and I'm on my 4th book. And
I want to get into your career because we stopped you getting an A in photography.
Oh, I ramble. Sorry.
No, I love your. No, this is amazing. So, like, so when you graduated, what was your goal? Like, was it photography?
No, it took me. I graduated, and then I was also like already so good at gymnastics by then. I'll be arrogant about it, but I was competing at the high school level when I was in junior high.
Yeah.
2 years after I started.
Okay.
Then at high school, I was literally winning everything. Like I was the guy to beat. And so colleges were looking at me for scholarships.
Wow.
And Joe, my coach, like he's like, you can go to college. And I'm like, college? Are you kidding me? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And so long story short, he prepped me and I got into college and I was in this program called EOP, which is Equal Opportunity Program for underprivileged kids who didn't have money.
Gotcha.
They pay, if you get into a college,
awesome.
They basically pay everything except room and board.
Okay.
And then my college covered, the gymnastics covered the room and board. So I got a full ride to a college.
It's amazing.
And I said to myself, again, this is my big thing. I'm going to graduate college.
Yeah.
I might be the only one in my generation that actually graduated from a regular college. Do you know what I mean? I'm I want this to be in my belt.
Okay.
So I made it sure. And then I became, 5-time, 14 All-Americans.
Wow.
All that. And then I did a commercial for the Postal Service because of my gymnastics abilities.
For the Postal Service?
Yeah. And they needed a gymnast that looked like blonde hair, blue eye that could try out for the Olympics and to do his own stunts.
Wow.
And I did that, and that got me to New York.
Like acting?
Acting.
Wow.
And I studied, then I'm like, I want to be an actor. Like, they're like, you're so quick on your feet, So I went and studied at the Meisner School of Acting, got accepted, which was a feat in itself.
Yeah.
Went and did the school, graduated from there and started acting. And, then that got me out to LA. And I was like, I was on my way, dude. I was killing. I was on Friends.
Wow.
I was like, I almost booked a lead for this Jenny Cho show. She did, yeah.
I know that show, yeah.
Well, let me tell you about this. I've done a ton of national commercials. I was living in California as an actor.
Okay, how old?
I mean, this was after college, after New York, probably like 27, 28.
Okay.
On the way, Sandy Gallen was managing me. He's one of the biggest managers in, I met him through friends at a party and he's like, you should do this, and he got me in this audition at, with Jen Cho and they were like, dude, can you stay and read? You know, and they were like, this is your part, dude. Like we're good.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And then everyone was like, you know, can you stay and read for producers? And Jenny's going to come in. And I was like, oh my gosh, go outside. I call my Sandy calls me. He's like, dude, what did you do? He goes, you're going to get this. They're already sending over contracts.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, like I'm going to be on a TV show with Jen. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I go back in and I'm waiting. And then they're like, here's some new sides. And I'm like, oh shit. Cause I have dyslexia.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And I can't read good and I can't retain what I read.
Wow.
And I have to study these sides to get
Okay.
it. And then I'm money.
Yeah.
But I'm like froze.
Damn.
Oh, I can't learn. There was like 7 pages of sides and looking at the names, I'm like, I forgot which name my character was.
Wow.
And now I don't know about acting. If you're out there and you act, you know, you gotta know everyone else's lines.
Okay.
So then you know when and how to deliver yours, and any kind of emotion comes from what they give you.
Gotcha.
That's that Meisner technique.
Okay.
So I got to learn Jenny's lines and know where her mind's at and why she's feeling this way so I can react.
Damn.
Let alone just read the lines off.
Okay.
So I knew I'm not going to be as good as I would when I went into my audition because I knew that back and forth.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, I go in. I don't know if I was starstruck from meeting her, and she commented something like, woo, I hope there's some makeout scenes or something. Like,
wow.
Something to that effect where I'm like, oh, man. And I knew I was going to let her down right away. And I just got nervous, and one of the guys he was like, are you all right? I'm like, good. He goes, you need any more time? And I'm like, I knew no time was going to do it. So I just like, all right, let's get it over with. It's like the first time you make out with a chick, you're like, I don't know how it's going to go. Or what if I mess up? Or
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm just going to do it. And
Too much tongue.
we'll see. Or like, you know, do I use tongue or do I not? Like Tupac's tongue, right? Like, I bomb it.
Damn.
Had to start over 3 times. And then I look around and I said, I can't. Sorry. Went out in the parking lot and I quit acting that day.
Holy shit.
And everyone was like, what?
Wow.
And I went over to Sandy's house and I just told him, I said, listen, I can't do this. I can't.
Yeah.
Like this is going to happen again and again. And I
again.
felt horrible. I feel like disgusted that I let everyone down. I feel like I lied to people, and it's going to happen again. And I can't do it. And I can't be on a show and be the guy that everyone's going to be making fun of going like, oh, you got scenes with Brian. Good luck. You'll be there till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn, man.
So I knew it wasn't for me.
Wow.
And at that time I had started my rollerblading career as well.
Okay.
And so I was like, I had a pro skate, I had a pro wheel, I was touring the world, I had managed a team, I was making fine money.
Holy shit.
My rent was $850 a month. I lived 2 blocks from Venice Beach.
Damn.
I had a 2-bedroom house with a fenced-in front yard. Life was good.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, I'm not trying to struggle right now. I want to see what's making me happy. And then I really got into photography because when I made skate videos, the photographers wanted like $3,000 to shoot a cover. And I'm like, the whole thing cost maybe $800.
Yeah.
And I filmed around the world. How are you going to charge me? And I'm like, all right, let me figure it out. And then when I started, dating Shay, I learned I learned over Thanksgiving everything about a camera, physically about a camera.
Okay.
Again, from my knowledge from when I took that class.
Yeah.
To now I'm like, I need to know this camera.
Okay.
And I got an old, Nikon, and I went during Thanksgiving and went to Alabama with Shay, and I literally got every book from Barnes & Noble on photography, and I think I read every one of them.
Wow, man.
And then I started just shooting. Then I started shooting pictures of my wife.
Okay.
Because she's so, gorgeous. And I'm like, we could do all these cool pictures and we'd set things up. Then I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is, when I first got one back that I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like, this is, babe, tell me this isn't a good photo of you.
Yeah.
She was like, you should take more because I have to pay people $500 to take pictures so I can do my portfolio.
Yeah.
So when her modeling agency, Ford, saw the pictures, we're like, will he do it for a couple of other girls? So I was making $500 a pop shooting all these girls, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. This is what I want to do.
That's amazing, man.
And then I got in, and then I got into. Everyone's heard this story before.
You were an assistant, right, with Herb?
Yeah.
Herb
So
Ritts,
then I did a commercial though first.
Okay.
He signed me up for the Gap campaign to rollerblade and jump over something in the commercial.
Holy shit.
And so it was for pro athletes. It was a print ad.
Wow.
So it was photography. So when I went and saw him, I was like, dude. and he was friends with Sandy.
Okay.
So I had a connection.
Small world. Yeah.
So I just said, "Do you think Herb would let me watch?" And he's like, "Let's call him." And I was like, "No." And he called him right there, and Herb's like, "Yeah, have him come by, have him talk to my guy David Jekyll. He'll put him D." And 2 weeks after I was the main talent, I was picking cigarette butts off the beach, off sets, and cleaning up trash.
That is incredible, man.
Yeah, and then up until
he
the
took
day
you under
he
his
died.
wing, kind of.
He took me under the wing in a sense. Like, he didn't take me under his wing, and he told me day one, "See these guys?
Yeah.
All these 5 guys that were his assistants, they're your future if you want to stay. You do what they say. If they say that you're helpful or they say you want to be there, then you can stay. Otherwise, you can come to a couple shoots and that'll be it."
Yeah.
But I don't force my assistant. They control everything, and I have to respect that.
Yeah.
And I understood.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Okay, here's this. What do you want me to do, guys? Here's my education. I don't know shit."
Yeah.
So they said, "Well, then you're going to be cleaning up
Okay.
and loading the truck." And I cleaned up and I loaded, made sure that truck was spick and span. And
Damn.
I made sure those extension cords were rolled up perfect.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "That's called a stinger, not an extension cord."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Stinger, got it." And I was a sponge, and I would ask them, "What's this called?"
I love that.
Right? That's an
man.
Ellanchrome. This is
Okay.
a pack. And when it was appropriate and they had time, we're setting up or breaking down, no one's around, I would ask them questions.
Okay.
Then I would write them down in my book and I would go study them.
That is amazing.
And that's how I learned.
man.
And for 3 years,
You
that's
did
what I
that.
did.
Wow.
And then I remember at I don't know how many months in, David said, "We're going to start hiring you as, the extra hand. So we're going to start paying you." And I'm like, No. I shouldn't get paid. I this was a blessing and I get where I am. And he's like, "Dude, you're getting paid or you're not coming."
Wow.
And I think it was $150. So it was like not getting paid, but
Yeah.
going from all the stuff I was doing and all the skating stuff, I quit everything
Okay. For this.
just for this.
Yeah.
And I really gave up a lot.
Yeah.
Because who knows where I would have went. I could have been making films. I might have went to doing that. That's where I was headed.
Okay.
And I was doing very well. So to lose everything, was, you had to do it.
Yeah.
But then again, I was at a point in my life where I'm like, I just wanted to do something. Now, I'm always like, I want to do what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything that didn't make me happy.
No, you didn't
Never.
at all.
All the stuff that I did, I'm grateful for, and I was stoked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
this one was a different kind of adrenaline rush and love.
Yeah.
And it was purely just to create each bit of magic on each roll of film.
Okay.
And that's what was so, to me, and still today, is so great, that I'm doing so many different things with photography,
Yeah.
but I'm still so amped on all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I love
Yeah,
the
yeah.
challenge of going to set and they're like, "Well, we were going to shoot this on location. Now we have to recreate a rain scene in a studio." And I can figure this out now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
awesome.
It's awesome and fun to do. And
Yeah.
I had a jam session with a couple assistants the other day. We're like, "Let's try some new lighting stuff.
Yeah.
Let's play.
This new lights. Yeah.
Let's play." And we had so much fun. And we ordered
Yeah.
some subs and sat around all day, and everyone gave their input, and we looked and we're like, "Oh, that's sick."
Mm-hmm.
We put some stuff in front of a softbox and put it in different angles and did it 3 different ways to see what it would do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then we found out let's take this called shoot through umbrellas, and we're shooting through umbrella. And he goes, "What if you put this through there and then held a scrim in front of that? Like, what would it really do?"
Yeah.
Or if shoot through the black, if you change it
Awesome.
to black and white, does it affect the skin? And you don't know until you do it. That's
Yeah.
your real education, is
Yeah,
being
yeah.
on set and seeing things happen and going, "Ooh, I like that. I'll remember that."
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember the things that you like and the things you don't like. And that's how you create your own style and find out where you want to be.
Yeah. Do you like black and white over color, or do you like them both?
I love both. I just love a color image when it's perfect and it's a perfect scenario for color.
Yeah.
I don't like forcing it. It's like when I did my drive-by book to the show you
Yeah.
just went to, I only used a black and white camera, so I
Great.
didn't have that dilemma.
Okay.
Because
Smart.
trying to figure it out or hope, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Like I had this new monochrome. They let me use it. And I fell in love with it. And I'm like, I just want this and a lens.
Yeah.
And I want to keep it simple.
Super simple.
That's it.
Yeah.
And,
Those photos are beautiful. I won't get to that, but my first question, also my next question, not my first, but what was the first job you got? You remember the first photo you sold, or what it was for?
Yeah. I believe Incubus
Wow, great band, man. Wow,
I toured with them in 311, and
Wow.
I took some pictures of 311.
Pardon me. Wow,
Yeah,
bangers.
but and I was doing the video stuff again.
Wow.
I made 2 documentaries. I got an award for the 311 doc.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Holy crap! I love 311.
Yeah,
man.
man, enlarged to show detail. I went on tour with them for years.
Incubus too.
Incubus, I went on tour with. I met through at
Okay.
the Big Melee tour with. Gosh, it was crazy. It was
That's
a Big
awesome.
Melee tour.
Great band, man. Great artist,
yeah.
man. Underrated,
They're-
man. Did
they're-
some great
they're
songs.
Unreal, and I got to travel with both bands and was kind of like the extra member
Wow.
for a long time. Yeah,
I saw the dude perform recently, like barefoot on TV somewhere. He was killing it,
Brandon,
man.
he's a great artist too.
I heard that.
Yeah, I'm involved with this program called Moonlight Collective that Brandon started,
Okay.
and it's giving actors and actresses and people who have other careers outlets to do shows and get involved and show their art, paintings
Sick.
and all that. It's beautiful.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a surfer too, right?
Oh, he's a good. He
He
had the
seems like a
dilemma.
surfer.
He had the dilemma of going pro surfing, or do I do this band with these guys?
Wow.
Because he was on his way to be pro.
Damn,
And
good
he
pick,
chose,
though.
Yeah, it is.
Incubus,
'Cause
man.
he still rips.
I forget. No,
But wait, what was the point? Because I'll ramble again.
It was your first photo.
Oh yeah, so so I had just been digging in deep, and I just got off tour with them, and
So cool.
then when they were filming their album Morning View in Malibu, I
a big
went
one.
and photographed all of the sessions.
Wow.
And so I had a whole crap of beautiful stuff. So I printed like 30 of my favorite images.
Okay.
You know, I'm like, these are awesome. And so I just gave them to Brandon and said, here, give these to the guys, man. A little present for you guys. And I loved it, you know, this and that. What I didn't know, he was going to New York the next day to talk about album artwork and what they were going to do.
Layouts, yeah.
He went to the meeting and laid down the pictures and said, here's our album artwork, our merch and everything. We just got to pay this guy, Brian.
Holy crap.
So they were like, great. Love it. No way. And so
You didn't know he was going to do that?
I didn't know he was going to do it. And not only that, I didn't have an agent. I didn't know what I was doing. He calls and says, hey, this guy's going to call you from the record label and talk to you about buying the picture. So make sure you know what you're doing, because this is like the real deal. Like,
It is.
don't give it away for like $100.
No, no.
So I'm like,
That's a
what
big
do-
budget.
I made my wife act as agent. So I remember
I love
figuring,
that.
she's like, well, what do I do? And I'm calling everyone like, if I was going to do this and this and that, and they're like, oh, well, you know, the buyout alone is like $5,000 and this should
Easy.
be this. That. And I'm like, I can't ask. If I ask them for that much money, babe, they're going to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the friend of the band. Like, there's no way. Like, don't do it. And she's like, well, Brian, you don't also want to not get what you're worth.
Exactly,
like,
man.
and
Don't
I'm
lowball
like,
yourself.
I'm not worth nothing right now. Like, I've never even, we don't know what we're doing. She goes, that's right. She goes, stop. I'm not talking to you anymore. Let me deal with this. She called some people. When the guy called, she went in the closet.
Okay.
This is a freaking true story.
Okay.
Went into the closet. I was outside the closet freaking out. By the way, we were so broke at this point. She was pregnant. We had bought our first house. This is the first time we were worried about paying rent.
Gotcha.
So she comes out and she's like, I didn't get $5,000. You know, she's like, I got 12.
Wow.
And we were,
man.
I get teared up thinking about it. She was
That's incredible.
jumping.
man.
We were like, oh my gosh, that's 3 to 4 months rent, our mortgage. And I'm like, I can't, you know, and Brandon's like, yeah, man, that's awesome. Like, good for you. He's like, you probably could have got more.
Oh, my
The
man.
music industry was on fire then.
That's
and,
incredible, man.
And anyway, that led to,
Opened so many doors.
then I worked, you know, then I met Selma Blair on there because she was dating Jason Schwartzman, who was, you know, was a fan of Planet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Another band.
And then I hung out with Jason, and I'm like, oh, and then Selma was like, I want to shoot pictures. So she set up with her publicist, Troy, a whole photo shoot, and Herb let me
Wow,
use his
man.
studio. So now
That
I'm
is
doing a
a-
celeb like Selma Blair, and
First one.
first one. And then Selma was like, these are great. Can we use them?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, just take them. Troy's like, no, we won't take them. We're going to try to place them in magazines, and they'll get paid.
Wow, man.
And I was like, what? So then like,
shit,
oh
that's the
yeah,
second one.
so-and-so bought this picture. They need the picture and work out how much. And I'm like, again, with the work out how much. I don't want.
Yeah.
That's why I never, like, thank God for Rick and Megan and Copious, my agency, because I
Yeah.
don't like talking about money. I don't care
I don't
about
like it
money.
either, man.
I honestly couldn't tell you how much I make right now.
Yeah.
Shay does the finances. I go do my job, go back. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
do I have enough money to buy a new surfboard? That's all I need to know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's really all I care about. And I don't like, I didn't get into do it like
For
that.
money, yeah, for sure.
And when you grow up without money, you don't care about money. You blow through money.
yeah.
Like, it's not important. I'm like, spend it if we got it.
Mm-hmm.
Why even put it in the bank for a rainy day? Like, it doesn't rain in California.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, I would spend it, you know, on things. And I can't stand, like, I'll always pick up the bill at restaurants because I know I don't want to ever invite my friend to a restaurant that I know he can't afford. And I've been in that situation so many times where I'm like, I'll just get a salad. And I feel,
I'm really hungry
I'm
today.
not, no, I just ate. I can't believe you invited me. I just ate, and then you're like licking the plate after the salad. They're like, you homeless dog, you did not just eat. And so I always make sure that I let people know I'm getting dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no question about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remember just going, oh, this is going to hurt. And then someone picked up the bill and you're like, oh my God, so thank you so much. Like, it's just dinner, relax. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like to not,
have that. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm on the thing where like, I'll just do it,
I love that. So you took off from there. There's so many things. I mean, Vanity Fair, Esquire, GQ, Details.
Yeah,
and then you took photos for like some of my favorite shows, Shameless.
Yeah.
Fucking Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
Unbreakable, House of Lies, The Do-Over, Kimmy Schmidt, The Voice, and then movie posters, Intern with De Niro and Anne Hathaway, Central Intelligence, Rock, and Kevin Hart. This crazy shit. And then did stuff for a campaign with Mark Jacobs for skin cancer awareness.
Yeah.
Just so much cool stuff. And then you had other books. So I'm going to go through your list. There's so many cool things you did, man. You had the other projects. It was called Projects.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was portraits, Aniston, Crawford, Demi Moore, Selma Blair, Hilary Swank. And then you did like a fine art collection of wildlife with naked girls wearing animal masks.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that came about because you could wear a mask and no one would know who you are. So a lot of
Totally.
those people are like,
I'll do it.
yeah.
But you didn't say who they were, though.
Nope, never. I said the only way anyone will ever find out is if you tell them.
Okay. That's amazing. And then the metallic series with nude photos with like a metallic canvas vibe.
Yeah, we kind of spray painted the girls too.
And then like do so much. It covers a Billboard, Miley, The Rock, Kat Daly from Women's Health, Nikki for Billboard, Margot Robbie, who I love, Channing Tatum. I always say his name wrong. That's probably said it right.
No, you said it right.
So many people, man. Just like Melissa McCarthy, Julianne Moore, who I love, Sam Jackson, Christina Aguilera, Drew Barrymore, Jessica Chastain, Megan Fox, Renee Zellweger, Chris Pine, the Chainsmokers, who I love.
Oh, they were crazy.
Dude, there's so many diverse, so many people.
Did you see me just get taller as you were saying all that stuff? Like, I don't think anyone's ever broke it down.
Dude, I love
like,
this.
I forget.
Bro, you
that
did
stuff.
so much shit, dude. It's just like,
wow.
I mean, and then, okay, couple things. So then there was other books too. You had two other books before the Drive-By book, correct?
Yeah, I did a book with Filson, the Pioneers of Filson.
Okay.
And then I did a Marc Jacobs book where I went around the world twice with them when they were setting up stores, when they were getting started, and I shot just the employees. And I made a whole book called The Men and Women of Marc Jacobs. And it was one of the funnest projects I ever did. And the pictures, the dudes all look, everyone in that book, you go to the store, and half of what him and Robert Duffy did, they hired people that were musicians, actors, actresses, models, scientists, and everyone had their own unique style, and they loved it. And we're like, this is our misfit company, and you did not feel like it. And so I'm like, it's a photography's dream, because when you have someone that's a character, like I could shoot a picture of you anywhere, and it's gonna look so cool. Because
I want one, by the way, someday.
Let's do it.
Okay,
let's do it. But when you it's like when you see something as an artist.
Yeah.
And that inspires you, which for me is like people and how you dress and how you look and how you carry yourself in life and the way you come off. And now I feel like I know you. I know I can do something cool.
Yeah.
Creating all that, I'm not so big on.
Okay.
And it's easier when you can look at some girl's dressed to the nines. She's got her own little outfit that she made at the thrift store.
Yeah.
She's standing with a freaking pink umbrella in front of a white wall. You're like, just give me 3 shots.
Okay.
And that picture, I know that picture's done. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I can't create that girl's look. I could have never done it.
Yeah.
Especially with the tattoo on her neck to finish it off. And she looked sideways, and it's like, oh man, this is just, it's perfect. And that's how the men and women of Marc Jacobs came about. Awesome. And I didn't even plan on doing a book. I just said, can I come and take pictures of the employees?
Yeah.
And then I knew something would be cool.
Yeah.
And then when we were done, I had, years of pictures.
Yeah, but you took photos of Incubus as your friends hanging. That became a fucking album layout, though.
It's almost like, just make sure you do it.
Yeah.
If you get ideas, right? Don't write them down on a chalkboard too long.
Yeah.
They better be erased. I did this one. Now I'm on to the next one. I did this one.
Yeah.
Like I don't have empathy or time for anyone who doesn't really want to go after it. Because you can't make excuses. No one cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Were you into fashion? Were you a big fashion guy? You have a cool style. But it's not high end fashion.
No, I was always terrible at it. I love when people did stuff or gave me some ideas and then I went with it. I'm more on the simple side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's why I loved when I was skating. I had Dickies and white T-shirts.
Hell yeah.
And that was it.
That was a uniform.
Yeah, it was a uniform. You know, I still have. I mean, how many Dickies do I have in my closet still? You know what I mean?
Dickies are still cool though.
Yeah, and it's like I do love fashion and I love watching designers do what they do.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the guy that can pull off certain things, so I don't take risky trends.
Yeah.
I just wear what I like to wear.
Yeah.
And if you look at pictures of me since I've been in here or New York, I dress the same.
Yeah.
I've always had hats, which kind of bums me out now because I've probably got 30 to 40 different hats and fedoras and cowboy hats and these hats and that.
Yeah, you rock it well though. Yeah, it's cool.
Had them, you know, and now I look like a hipster. Like I literally was going to a function like last year and I got my hat on and I'm looking and I'm thinking to myself, damn, everyone in this room. You know, it's that time when Nick Vacay did his hats and everyone in Hollywood had the same hat. Well, I actually had one too. But I hear these really hot chicks behind me. And they're like, oh shit, we forgot to wear our hats. Thank God. And I literally just turned around deadpan and looked her in the eye and she was like, oh no, I wasn't talking about you. And I'm like, no, I was thinking the exact same thing. And my car's too far to go back. Plus my hair's messed up. So
you're the OG with the hats.
But then I'm like, you know, and my wife said it perfect. She's like, look, you've been wearing hats ever since I met you. Why would you stop now? Because everyone else is wearing them. She's like, they won't be wearing them in a year. Yeah. And then you'll still be you.
Exactly.
You know,
it's a trend.
Get over it.
How was it shooting De Niro? I'm sure you're a massive fan. Yeah.
No, it was like one of those ones like, you know, everyone's like, who's your favorite celebrity? I'm like, there's so many.
I'm sure.
But there's icons. You know what I mean? And then there's icons.
Is that nerve-wracking?
Of them. It's completely nerve-wracking. Nervous. Don't know if he's going to I know he doesn't like photo shoots and I know he's not going to sit there and do a million shots.
Nah.
Which is one reason why I got the shot because I can go in there and shoot 4 pictures of him and move on.
Yeah.
Because I know here's what we're going to do. Stand this way. And he's not a model. He's not going to turn around and start doing poses. Yeah. He's going to look at you. I'm going to say, give me a little grin, smile, and I get it. And I'm like, we can move on.
Yeah.
So the first thing we did, I shot this natural light portrait of him. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, thank God that this fits in the realm of what they need because I want a portrait of him so bad.
Yeah.
And I want to do it my way.
Yeah.
White background, natural light, pop a tiny soft silver umbrella from the side to give it a little bit of shadow with a stark white backdrop. Sick. It's going to look iconic and it'll last forever. Mm-hmm. And we did 6 frames. And I said, we're good. He's like, oh. And he looked at the monitor and was like, actually, that's a great photo. And he fist bumped me before COVID too. Fist bumped me and said, what's next? And then we walked over to the other thing. And then I noticed by the time, you know, and we moved on quite fast. And he was like, wow, that was great.
Wow.
And then we started talking about something. He was talking about making films and that takes and this and that. And then I found myself, I'm having a conversation about film with Robert De Niro, and I looked to my left, and everyone was watching us, smiling, like. And then my assistant walks over after, and he's like, "I'm so happy for you, man. I'm so fucking happy for you." Moment, and I literally was like, "I can't believe that just happened."
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, and this is after I've done, you know,
so many
that it's not like it's not. Sometimes it's just about the quality and then the picture that I got, that it was a dream come true. Because with posters, it's not like you're creating it and you're like, I want to do this. It's like you have to be a DP for what they need for the poster.
Exactly.
And sometimes they're wearing their outfits from the 20s, you know, which I think is rad. And I love custom pieces. But, you know, eventually if you want to do a book on your career, you want the picture that you created that you love.
Yeah, for
not
sure.
one that you'll set us for just because it's Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Or just because it's Denzel. Like
you want a Denzel photo?
I'm not even going to answer that question because I'm on hold right now.
Okay.
For the whole career, and I don't want to jinx it. Well, I guess I just fucked that up.
No, you didn't. Okay. So you have some goals of people you love to photography.
I still love shooting every new celebrity, every model. I still love shooting. There's no one where it's like, it doesn't get boring, or there's not a list that once you get to a certain point, you're like, already shot of everyone, what's next? It's like, I shot Margot Robbie's very first photo shoot.
Wow. That's
The Rock.
amazing.
I did one of The Rock's very first photo shoots.
Wow.
So you gotta understand,
That's
like,
incredible.
that's what you kind of want.
Yeah.
You want longevity and repeat business in this, career of yours.
Totally.
So it's like, I love the new actor.
Mm-hmm.
I love the new model.
Yeah.
I like, like Margot Robbie, I'm like, she's like, I'm going to have you shoot everything. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to be so famous that you won't be able to shoot me because you're going to be doing the cover of Vogue and all these people where they're just going to hire the biggest photographers in the world. And I understand that game.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got you when.
So cool.
And I sent a picture for her mom. And it's good that she remembers me when I see her. And that's all that I ever ask for.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
She respects and knows, oh my gosh, yes, I still love that shoot. And
Yeah.
which, I told you would never use me again because it's not up to you at some point.
It's not.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
great even when I get to do movie posters, and that's the business Herb was in, although he did amazing fine art.
Yeah.
And did several books and was a master at it. He wanted to do movie posters and he loved shooting celebrities.
Yeah.
And that's what I knew I wanted to do. So I went after it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that the biggest advice I could give young photographers or even old photographers that are trying to still make it is know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then go after just that.
Yeah.
And give that 100% of your try. And after 10 years, if you've made it, then great.
Yeah.
If you haven't, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And maybe you chose the wrong path, or don't ever give up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But don't, anything less than 10 years, you didn't give it a good shot.
That's a good point, man. Same thing with music. I would say the same thing.
Same
Yeah.
thing with music. And even now it's like, I don't understand how you guys come up with song after song after song or album after album. Like, how do you top it? I just don't know. I'm like, you listen
Sometimes you don't top it, but yeah.
you listen to like Incubus and you're like, Drive. Like, how are you going to make a better song than that? And then you listen to the next album, you're like, oh, they did it twice.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, man, I guess it's just like any artist. You're not satisfied.
Yeah. Stay creative and stay hungry. All that. Yeah.
Stay creative and stay hungry. And there's always room to improve and there's always room to excel.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Is there somebody on a list that you haven't photographed yet? You don't want to jinx it, but you haven't done Jay-Z or Madonna?
I always said it. I've done Madonna a couple times, actually. I've actually just started mentoring her daughter in photography and giving her private lessons. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
amazing,
she's
man.
really, really good too. And I dig that she's got a passion and if I can help
That's incredible, man.
make it happen, it's such a good thing to feel to give back.
Yeah.
But I used to say Brad Pitt all the time because I'm just such a fan. And when I was acting, and obviously he was the guy you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Him and Johnny Depp and all those guys were like, you're like, can I get close to that, please? Like, just not. It's just the fact that their careers and the choices they made. Like, after you watch California
with a K,
12 Monkeys, yeah.
Woo! Glad you mentioned that. Shout out to Juliette Lewis. That's one of my favorite movies, man.
And the fact that I know for a fact that he takes his career in acting so serious, and I just respected him so much. And
totally,
I thought it would be great to photograph him.
Leo, how about Leo?
Leo's the same.
Same, dude.
They both escaped me.
Man.
But you know what I did is recently I gave up on. I don't want a list.
Okay.
Because when you make lists, you get let down.
No, that's true.
You get you're like, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, I really wanted to shoot them when they were in California days. Not that I don't respect them. It's like I want the Brad Pitt from,
True
A River Runs Through It.
Ooh,
where you're like,
good one,
dude. If you ask, I will make out with you. And I don't. If that makes me gay, then I am gay, and I have no problem.
Yeah.
And
respect.
I just, you're extremely attractive.
Yeah.
And cool. And like, I imagine now I know when I hear people, when you're in the presence of them, they literally go goo goo gaga.
Yeah.
Everyone. Cause you have James Dean serum. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that when you just look at them, you're like, man, this is special.
Yeah.
You're special. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And there's some people that work and earn it.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? Where like, you're special, but you don't have that. And everyone can't have that, right? Because then it would be boring.
Yeah. I had that only, I met Madonna a couple of times. I have a tattoo of her. I'm in a Madonna coffee table book talking about my tattoo. My band,
I saw that.
My band covered Like a Prayer. But I met Jay-Z, and that was that was like some other level of human experience. Like,
and Brad, and I guess that here's what it stems from too. Brad Pitt is an amazing photographer. And he's a Leica enthusiast, and he loves architecture. So I knew I couldn't wait to talk shop with him about photography, which is why I was so enthralled again. And I know Leo is a big art collector.
Oh, for sure.
And I've always imagined, oh my gosh, could you imagine if you ever bought one of my prints? How tall I would get.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So just like you working with Madonna. And so when I work with people in the field that I have a history with or I respect or have more of a connection than just I'm shooting your new movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then I get more excited about it, and it's more of a check off the bucket list.
A bucket list. That's even better. I like that too.
I like bucket lists because I still have a lot of stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are legit. I like those.
And my wife is like, you're good at setting goals and reaching them.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I've never, since I've met you, you've reached every goal.
Yeah.
And then when you do it, you crush it, like you surpass it. And it's my addictive personality that I guess goes along with that. Because there's a certain amount of, I did that, now I need my next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm not. There's always a next thing.
I bet the day after your book, their drive-by book thing I went to, the next day you think about something else.
I'm doing a show. I'm doing a show of it in St. Bart's.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. That's on my list.
Then I'm hitting Art Basel.
You get picked out of 10 photographers to be there.
Yeah,
that's amazing, man.
Good photographer.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
I could not believe it.
And then a Will Smith book.
I did the cover.
Wow,
I actually
man.
shot the cover as a photo of mine that an artist drew.
Okay.
So I'm like, dang, mixed media. It's even more sick.
That's so cool, man. I saw you post about that yesterday.
Yeah, I'm really, and the book is amazing, and he so good for him, and what an inspiration.
What is this book? Is just photos of him?
It's a book about. I guess it's about him.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Yeah, that looked awesome.
It's crazy.
And then your drive-by book, like you travel like 11,000 miles through the pandemic in your 1958 Ford. You call it Pearl?
Yeah.
And that was at the shoot?
Well, I call it Pearl from the guy who sold it to me. And that was the shoot that you swung by, yeah.
Yeah, that was
the first show because we didn't know if we were going to have a show or not. And then we waited and waited and waited. And then I'm like, you know what? It's time to do it. And
it was great, man.
Yeah. And then
there's one picture. I don't know who it is. Obviously, you had Demi Moore, Mila Jovovich, Eva Longoria, Josh and Kathy Brolin, the best. Catherine Brolin, sorry, I said Kathy.
Yeah.
And then there's a picture of these two these two kids look like twins. I don't know what it was. It was so.
They're giving one's giving the finger.
They look like skinheads, like
old
punk rockers.
That story's amazing. So
who are they?
Do you know Eddie McClintock?
I heard the name.
Yeah, he's an actor and this and that. He knows of you as well. And those are his kids.
Wow.
And he's a sober guy.
They look badass.
They look punk rock. You know why? They went to school and the older brother, they gave him $20 to shave his head, and then said, "I'll give you extra $5 if you shave your eyebrows." So then his brothers were like, "Will you give me $20? I'll do it." So both on the same day, they came home looking like that.
That shit is amazing.
And then she's like, "You're not going to believe what my freaking kids did. They look like aliens." Dude. And then she sent me a picture, and I'm like, right now they need to come to my house, and we need to drive around and find a spot to get them in the book. And I shot that in LA, and I was driving, and I saw this old school, like, I think it was a Chevy. Yeah. And I'm like, just jump out, stand there, and then just look at me.
It was so good.
And they did like 3 pictures, and the little one just gave me the finger. And I looked over and I was like, oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite pictures.
Me too. It stood out the most to me that day.
It's just so freaking cool.
It looks like it was like in the South.
That's the thing about that book that I love is that I try to do pictures and find people and some things that like, was that from the 50s or are these?
Can't tell.
You can't tell. And with the Leica that I used, it has that look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just something that, again, got handed to you. And it's like, people are like, oh, of course, you have the best equipment in the world. I'm like, no, that's one camera and a lens and an idea.
Such a great idea, too.
So don't come with me about how you need an assistance and you need all these lighting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You need 1 or 2 lights and that's it. And you can do anything in the world. Dude. A lot of my movie posters and things like that, sometimes it's 1 light.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's really honing in on your craft and knowing where to put that light.
Yeah.
And and with me, it's a people business. It's how to get things out of people.
Yeah, there was some great ones, and the one with Catherine like straddling Josh on the motorcycle.
Yeah, Josh is down. Let's do something crazy and this and that. And he's like, "We're gonna get on the Harley and do that." And then I'm like, "Oh, right under the bridge because you can ride under the bridge with no helmet."
Oh,
right where we go surf in Zuma.
Okay.
So it's that bridge that goes under the road.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
under PCH.
Wow.
And, just drove by like 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, "This is genius."
It was so good. And then Demi Moore and the whole family in front of the water.
And the thing about the celebrities that are in the book, I didn't do it. I did it the same way everyone else. Mm-hmm. I said where I'm going to be, and then they hit me up on Instagram. You got to come by. She's like, the whole family's here, even Bruce and them. And I'm like, no way. So I stopped in, pulled up on the way out. They all came out. family get together right there. I pulled up
Dude.
on her grass and shot that picture.
It's insane. How many photos you take of that? A couple?
Yeah, you take like each drive-by is probably like 10 pictures.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I work everything out with them on the phone.
Okay.
So it's very well thought out. Even I'm
Okay.
like, send me a picture of where you want to do it. So then I know what time to show up.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, the sun's behind you. I'd rather shoot this when the sun's on your face.
Yeah.
So I'll know, by where the sun is, what time I need to be there. Just meet me there at 12.
Yeah.
And I'd get there and I'd never
So
meet these
good.
people and they'd wave and see the truck and they'd be like, I can't believe it.
And that's
And
it.
then Pearl took a life on his own. They're like, Pearl. That's why she had to be at the show.
Dude, it's amazing, man. It's such a great concept, man.
Yeah, it's one of those ones too that I wish I could take a bunch of credit for and be like, I thought of this deep, and I did it on accident through a Zoom with my neighbor,
Okay.
shooting her daughter. But I knew that when I saw the photo, it had to be a series because it just looked so cool.
Yeah.
And I think that half the battle of being a photographer is when you look at something and you know it's cool, you don't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
You know you did something special.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's when that's to me, it's like, that's when I know I did something right.
And that's something beautiful that came from the lockdown,
Yeah.
man. It came from the COVID.
And then I'm like, I didn't even think about that until I told my wife, I said, someone just DM'd me from Vegas and was like, are you coming to Vegas? What if I take this on the road? She's like, you're not going on the road. Like, and
Especially
I'm like,
now.
Yeah. May 2nd, my birthday, I left and said, I'm coming back. I'm going to go for 2 weeks.
So-
6.5 weeks later.
6.5 weeks.
Yeah, I just kept going. My friend
How far did
Sylvan,
you get? Like what part? Like,
I went all the way to Brooklyn and back, homie.
holy shit, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Wow.
all the way to Brooklyn. And then
Damn.
I went all the southern route, then went back the northern route and shot the whole way.
Just by yourself? We had someone with you.
I had to have somewhere to sleep and eat because
Yeah, of
everything was
course.
locked down. The whole country was
was.
in lockdown.
Okay.
There were no restaurants open.
Oh, so you had the thing with
So
you.
I had a Winnebago.
That's right.
My friend Sylvan,
Okay.
he's this French guy. He's hilarious. We have the best banter on this whole trip because he barely understood anything I said.
Okay.
Which like, when the Winnebago didn't have brakes, I'm like, we got them fixed, right? Yes. Then all of a sudden we're going on the highway and he can't stop.
Oh my God.
Oh, you might embrace. You might embrace. And I'm looking like, why? He's like, no brakes. I'm like,
Wha-
what? And
Holy shit.
luckily, I got my friend Evan B. Stone, the guy that brought me to LA
Okay.
that I did films with.
Yeah.
He did a documentary on the whole trip, bro.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I'm starting right now.
That's coming out next?
Yeah, coming out next. I just signed Sarah, Brandon Boyd's girlfriend, actually.
Okay.
Who's going to produce and get this thing put together, hopefully. So
That's amazing.
that's going to be
document.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
You're going to trip at the footage, man. It's crazy. But anyway, Sylvan, I have an RV. I just bought it.
Okay.
And I'm like, it's like you could use it? I'm like, dude, you should go.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving tomorrow. And he's like, and his wife was like, Sylvan, you don't get this opportunity. Because I know him because his wife's a makeup artist I work with.
Okay.
And she was like, would you please let my husband come to a couple shoots? He's a photographer. He's French and he wants to learn. And I think he's very good. And just let him come to a couple, please. And I've done her so many favors. I'm like, no problem.
Yeah.
So I ended up like, okay, this guy can come and help out. And I got to give people a shot, like Herb gave me a shot. So he ended up coming to a lot. And that's how I knew. And then she looked at him and said, Sylvan, you take this opportunity. You just say yes and think about it later.
Yeah.
And so that night he called. He goes, okay, I'm in. I'm like, bro, meet me tomorrow.
Holy crap, man.
And then we left.
just went.
And my friend Evan jumped on a little bit after. He's like, bro, I'm not working. I'm coming.
Come hang.
And so he met me in Vegas.
I remember seeing some, maybe you guys like cooking outside or somewhere.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Traeger Grills gave me a
Okay.
travel grill.
Okay.
So Traeger hooked it up and we were cooking. We were eating like kings, bro.
Wow.
We're going to, the stores, grocery stores were still open.
Totally.
It was great. Gas was like $1.50. It was the perfect time.
Do you cook too?
Oh yeah, I love to cook.
Okay.
And especially Traeger got me into a whole different game. Like I'm like a master now at smoking.
Okay.
They make it so easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And people call it cheating, but I'm like, I don't care how much you cheat when your ribs taste like that. Or finally I can make a brisket. And it's again just watching people's mind when they eat the food is like watching them look at a picture you took.
Yeah.
It's that addictive personality.
Yes,
And
you love cooking.
now I'm
Yeah.
like, my wife's stoked. She's like, now you can barbecue everything and I'll just do the salads.
Was she
'Cause
cooking
was
before that?
She's from Alabama, dude. That girl can cook.
Okay.
Cook.
Damn.
Oh man.
So now it's like, no, it's you.
Yeah.
No more excuses.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Yeah, the book's amazing. The show is amazing. Like all the photos, like Like those two kids stood out.
I
was
like
an
that
incredible
everyone.
photo,
I like
man.
that everyone can have their favorite.
Yeah. I mean, it was yeah.
It's such a diverse, such a diverse, documentation of our culture and our United States.
Yeah. So the documentary
Really
coming
crazy.
out for that. The book is out of print right now, right? Probably.
Book, unfortunately, the book's out of print.
Okay.
I saved a couple boxes to bring to Miami because I was going to do that show.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be the last of them, and it's literally sold out. I can't
Crazy,
believe it, man.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm still like, wait, what? Do we do another one? And I'm like, I don't know. Shouldn't we just kind of let it be cool? And if you got
That
one,
time and
you
that
got one,
moment.
you got one.
Yeah, it's part of history.
Maybe,
man. Like,
maybe someday like that, people will say that was important. You did that. And my grandfather has that book, and maybe he's going to tell his grandkids about COVID and be like, look at this book. This was done during that time.
pandemic. Yeah.
And I got Black Lives Matter in there, at the end of the tale of the trip.
Yeah.
George Floyd died. So
Yeah,
I
at
got,
the end of
I
that,
got
yeah.
some of the picketers and
Wow.
I got, some of the things that I think is really, really important.
Part of
for the whole
history.
thing. I got one that said, there was a garage and someone spray painted Carol Baskins, bitch. And I'm like, it's part of that time period. Like we
Yeah.
all, the Tiger King is like, yep, that was that time.
That was a Tiger King.
That's why everyone watched it. They were all
That was
in
the most
quarantine,
talked about thing ever, man.
right? There's so many things that came out of this
It
thing.
seems so long ago, man.
Yeah, and this book has it all. It's like
It does.
it's like a repertoire of like, but I tried to do it in a positive way, not negative. I didn't want to show like the people on their porch, like
Nah.
sad and like someone behind a window crying. This old man who's not going to see his kids ever again. And he's going
Yeah.
to die because COVID got him. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted the one where let's make a thing happen, which is the point of how that whole thing came together. And I wanted to give people some kind of joy
Yeah.
during this downtime. And
It's beautiful, and we've both been blessed with a forward from Josh Brolin.
oh my gosh,
And we talked about before we started recording, like we both got email reading these forwards he wrote for both of our books, and like
and he wouldn't tell you what's going on. He's like, bro, I'll send it. And he told me, it's like, it's going to be what I write.
same,
And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, dude, that's why you're writing this.
100%.
Yeah.
And I saw it was like on a big thing at everything. I was like, oh my god.
I printed it because it's so beautiful.
I know, man.
And it's so, it made me realize what I actually have done. Until I read that forward, I didn't realize what I've done. I knew I did something. I knew I did something great. When he looked at the pictures, and I remember he looked at me and he went, because I showed him.
Yeah.
And he just went, bro. Like, he looks at you and he's just like, he looks at you like he loves you so
I know,
fucking
man.
much.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. And it's like your
So
dad,
real.
it's like your dad or your wife looking at you and just, this is real.
Yeah, 100%.
He doesn't, he is looking me in my eye,
Yeah.
tilting his head so I can't look away and saying, you
Yeah.
did something
Super eye
awesome."
contact. Yeah.
And then he knew what to write.
Dude.
And then he's a poet.
Such a
This guy-
poet,
this
man.
guy can write. He should,
He's so like
he's
one
such
of
a
us.
great actor, but
He's-
I'm like, you should quit acting and you should write.
Yeah, we should do,
I know he's coming out with a couple books
Yes,
too.
he is. He is.
And I'm just like, dude, just keep going.
Incredible writer,
Keep
man.
going. Oh,
I didn't even want to get a grammar checked. He's like, yeah, you should get a grammar checked. I'm like,
No, if
I,
there's a-
I just like your flow,
Yeah.
man. It's just real.
I'm like, if there's a misspelled word, they're gonna think you did it just because I could read it. So,
Oh, shit, that's
so
right.
Keep it like that.
Yeah, he's the most like un-Hollywood incredible actor I've ever met. The most humble.
Yeah.
He comes from like skateboarding, punk, surfing, same stuff we were into growing up. He comes from our world, and he's just
He's
so humble. And
he's
awesome.
passionate about what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, even his sobriety,
Yes.
and he loves, if he can save one person and get him into a meeting and
Yeah.
save their life and this and that, he's all about that.
I love that, man.
And he's just not. He knows that everything's a blessing,
Mm-hmm.
and he thanks God every day for his new family and his old family, and
Yeah.
and everything that in the fact that he's still on this earth with us.
Yeah.
And I guess that when you go through that kind of stuff, you really are grateful.
Yeah.
And I think he surrounds himself. If he doesn't like someone that's not, he'll not only tell them,
He does.
but he won't give a fuck about what they think about it.
I know.
You
And
know,
that's punk. It's so fucking
it's so
punk.
punk. He was,
know,
I know he was punk.
Yeah, man.
I seen some
100%.
pictures of him back in the shaved head, and I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm
scary.
so grateful I didn't meet him when he was that Josh Brolin. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Just
we
'cause-
we connected somehow through him through the internet. I don't even
Yeah.
know how, but yeah, it's amazing, man.
Good people find each other, and that's when you hit me up, and my agent Rick was like, whatever that guy says, bro, do it.
Your agent?
My agent Rick is a big fan, and
What?
he's such a music buff. This guy
Okay.
can talk music a long time. And
Yeah.
he started out, he started my agency.
Okay.
And he started out as an understudy through an agent I was with, my first agent, Kim Gillis.
Okay.
And he was just, he worked in the Paramount or Warner Brothers, and he worked as, one of the people that hires photographers.
Okay.
So then he went to that to saying, I want to work with you. And he got into her agency like how I got into Herb.
Nice.
Then he became a junior agent.
Okay.
Then she decided, I want to raise my kids. I don't need to work anymore. I'm stopping the agency.
Okay.
And I had just done my first 3 movie posters. I was on fire. Yeah. Rick is like my agent.
I just heard your Syracuse accent just now. I just heard it again.
And then he looked, and I remember we went to breakfast, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, whoa. What do you mean you don't know what you're going to do? He's like, well, I got to think about this. Like, I just lost my job, bro. And I'm like, dude, no. You didn't lose your job. You're starting up on your own.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm like, oh, dude, hold up. And I looked him in his eye. I go, yes, you are.
Yeah.
I go, why would you not do that? This is what you've done. We've worked for this.
Yeah.
I'm doing, I go, dude, if you do it out of your house and you have just me and Cheryl Niels,
Yeah.
who will go anywhere with you,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, and that's the first time I don't know if he thought about it, but I saw him go, out of my house.
Yeah.
Like, all you need is a phone, bro, and a fax.
All you need.
That's all you need. I'm like, no, dude, you can't do this to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so he stayed in the game, and now he's like he's the biggest agency in LA and maybe the world for entertainment.
That's amazing.
And represents some of the toppest, biggest photographers. I'm like, dude, you better stop hiring some of these guys or I'm going to be you're going to let me go. He's like, I'm never letting you go, dude.
That's a great story,
but
man.
I'm so impressed for him, and we grew together.
Yeah.
In our careers. But he's like, dude, he never misses a Coachella. He never misses the band.
Loves
his
music.
love for music. He grew up in Poughkeepsie and would
Poughkeepsie has to play
Dude,
shows up there, the
that's-
Chance.
Dude, I know. It's why he knew who you were.
Wow.
He used to roll up to New York City and watch shows.
Wow.
And so he knew, and he's like, he just told me, he's like, if that guy wants to do a podcast with you, just do it. And I was like, dude, no, I'm doing it. And he goes, I'm doing it tomorrow. He's like, what? He's so sick.
Shout out to him.
Then he's like, dude, he's reading off all the ones you've done. And he's
Yeah.
like, I listened to this one. He goes, I haven't listened to this one, but I'm going to listen to this one.
It's awesome,
He
man.
was like fanning out. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, he doesn't do that with hardly anyone.
Wow. Well,
So-
that's really nice. Thank you. I appreciate you being here too, man.
No, I was stoked, and I was so stoked to see you at the show because
Yeah.
obviously you're a super recognizable guy, and it was just like, it's so funny.
You were like in the mix. It was awesome.
I know, but it's so funny that I knew, and it's like, it feels like even that little bit of time, it felt like oh,
Totally.
cool. I know this guy a little bit, so
Yeah.
it's going to be easy.
No, I appreciate it. It was awesome. And it was, thanks for that. I'm glad I went to that too, man. I was like,
No,
was awesome.
that's also a testament to you going and figuring out what you want and going after it.
mm-hmm.
And it's no different than I'm like, I'm down with anyone that really does that.
Yeah.
And obviously you can't do everyone, and
Of course.
and you want to give everyone a shot, but at some point it's like, you got to choose your battles because you don't wanna
100%.
you want to spread yourself too thin,
Yeah.
but I love to talk. So
No, it was a great story. And one of the
pretty
questions,
easy.
one of my main final questions is, and you seem like you have it, because a positive mental attitude is like what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And that seems like that's been your whole path. Like everything you put your mind to, you went for it and did it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, at some point I was always saying I was the luckiest guy in the world
Yeah.
till someone sat me down and said, dude, you're creating your own luck now. He goes, but no one is that lucky. You're doing something.
Skills, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because
talent.
it's not like you're lucky to be there for
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you're good at what you're doing.
Yep.
You weren't lucky to become a pro skater. You got really good at it.
Yeah.
It just happened really fast.
Totally.
And you take for granted that when you put your mind to something and you make it happen, you don't think about the in between because all you're focused on is the end game
Yeah.
or getting
True.
to where you can feel like you're doing it.
Yeah.
And in that way, I don't sit around and go, I didn't sit around and wait for people to go, we want to hire you. I'm like, when I wasn't getting hired and when no one was hiring me, I still was just doing everything.
Yeah.
And I was in the mix. I was at every show shooting rock stars and then
Yeah.
giving them free pictures. I was asking every celeb that I met, yeah, you need to do a headshot? You want me to shoot you? You want me to do anything
Yeah.
for free? I was doing all of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then it was all of a sudden, people knew who I was. They're like, oh yeah, that Brian guy. Brian Bowen Smith, I heard of him.
Yeah.
And then so, and then celebs would talk back and forth and be like, I just worked with this great guy. He was so fast and the pictures are amazing. And then I'd be shooting something. They're like, oh yeah, I just talked to so-and-so. And they were like bragging about, and I was like, what? What do you mean bragging? She's like,
awesome,
oh no,
man.
no, she loved it. She said,
Awesome.
that's why I'm here. That's why I hired you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no way. And then,
but that's your work speaking for itself, man.
yeah. And then just also me
Your
going
personality too.
personality and just treating everyone with respect, making sure that the shoot there's no status on a shoot, no matter what your assistant are. Like there's no, it's everyone just has fun, and let's all be thankful and know that we're lucky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's your hard work.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had Natalie Martinez on here.
Oh my God, it's my girl.
I know, but she was. I said, "What do you got after this?" She goes, "Oh, I'm going to your house to do it for the same day she was here, man."
That's crazy.
She's
See?
amazing,
Small
man.
world. Oh, she's an
badass,
angel.
man. Yeah.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Just,
Oh yeah.
she's awesome, dude.
She's so great. Yeah, we got a lot of mutual friends, and I'm like, Nat, is any friends with Nat? Immediately, I'm friends with.
Yeah. She got a good vibe. Do you have any regrets in life? Any regrets?
My only regret is I didn't get focused earlier. My only regret is I spent so much time boo-hooing about the cards life handed me.
Yeah.
When I actually, and in a kind of, I got to be careful about how I say this, because growing up white in a predominantly African-American neighborhood, I knew that I had special privileges.
Okay.
I knew that certain people would pay attention. I didn't know why yet, but now that I'm older and I'm being educated on racism and being educated on why is that white privilege.
Gotcha.
I just didn't know. I didn't think anything about racism because there wasn't a racist bone in my body. I mean, all of my friends, almost all of them were African-American until I got to high school and met kids that lived on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
And I was friends with everyone. It wasn't, I didn't choose. Anyone that wanted to be my friend, I would work out to be their friend.
Yeah.
Until they did something like, you committed a robbery and I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to go stab someone. These are situations I was in.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I knew that's not my friend anymore. And I knew not to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For
and
sure.
then, and so I just grew up blind to, my mother became a lesbian. One of my best friends on the whole planet, Robert Duffy, who owned Marc Jacobs, which is why I had all this opportunity, was gay.
Yeah.
So I grew up around all of it.
Yeah.
Mark, this guy, Mark Speck, in junior high, tried to kiss me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, no, back in the day, that was like, he begged me not to tell him. So I'm like, I won't tell anyone, but like, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. I go, I'm not gay. Like, but you're still my boy. Like, I felt bad and I felt
Still
so
friends,
bad
yeah.
for him. Like, oh, no. He thought, oh, what did I do?
You're going to out him? Or,
out him. Like, dude, you be you. Like, no, you're still my boy.
Yeah.
And no one makes fun of you. I'm like, everyone knows you're gay, by the way. It's not a secret. You're a queen. Yeah. Like, but that's why you're my friend. And I've always been like that. And I've always taught you don't, until someone gives you a reason to not be your friend, why not have more friends?
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have to be best friends with everyone, but
I agree. 100%.
It's great to have a ton of friends. And then, when you really need someone to fall back on, you've got more options.
100%.
Which I found that's helpful.
Yeah.
And in my life, I'm fortunate, that I've got some really strong
diverse group of friends. Yeah.
And some that I know are just friends. You know what I mean? So it's like you pick and choose. I go, but I do know that I regret not, having a passion. And I don't know if I regret it as much as I knew I did some stupid stuff, and I treated some people that helped me and wanted me to get out pretty badly because I resented the fact that they weren't my father. They weren't the ones supposed to be helping me.
Gotcha.
Even though they are, and I kind of was a dick to them.
Gotcha.
And I regret how they must have felt at that point. And like, they didn't have to do that. They were like, what? Hold on a second. You talk to me like that, and I just bailed you out of jail, and you really gonna act like pissed at me?
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And by the way, make your own dinner tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah,
that was really bad. But I didn't think about it till after I graduated college, and after maybe I started doing that for other people.
Yeah.
And then someone did that to me, and I'm like, whoa. I'm not the one that you do this to. Yeah. Not after I've given up. And you're not going down that path. Yeah. I'm not letting you. How about this? You know what I mean? Yeah. Buck the fuck up.
Buck up.
That's it. Like, stop.
Go shit. Yeah.
And then I realized, that, oh man, I did that. And he didn't give up on me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why no matter what, you don't give up on people, and you let people make mistakes, and you just let them know you're there for them when they're ready to come around.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's how I try to live my life. Other than that, I don't get shit, man. I'm so happy. I'm so content with where my life is.
Do what you love. Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm doing what I love, and I'm being able to give my kid a different kind of life, and my struggles of trying to make sure that he understands it, which is going well, and not take advantage of it. I just started a tequila company with some great people.
That, man.
I'm like,
what's it called? Casa de la, what is it?
Casa del Sol.
Casa del Sol, yeah.
Yeah, and we're in Bevmo now already.
Okay.
It's on the up and up, and it's just this, man. Just
what's the name mean?
The name's House of the Sun.
Okay, cool.
And we're like all about, it's that sunset sip of, almost like old school. Dad has his scotch at the end of the night to unwind, and he's working hard, and his partner brings it to him, and it's just that joyous moment of
okay,
this is what we do it for, and best sip that sunset so you can think about the blessing of the day.
I like that,
and think about how blessed that you are, and sip it. You're not doing a shot and going out and taking off your shirt at a bar, licking salt and this is a fine liquid that you respect and enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'm down with that. And, you mentioned Eva Longoria is one of our partners, and she was big
nice.
Well, let me taste the juice before I say anything.
Ooh.
She was like, I've been approached a couple times about tequila in my career.
Sure.
And we're like, we know. we stand by it, and that's why we want you to taste it.
And she loved it probably, yeah.
Then she got back to our Kobe, our president, and said, let's talk now.
Wow.
And then, she's
so
like,
cool,
and
man.
then one day she was like, I'm in. And I love it, and I back it 100%. How it's made, authentic Mexican in Jalisco with a Mexican-owned distillery.
Wow, it's awesome, man.
Who's a female too, and it just happened that all the cards fell in our place. We didn't strategically go.
Yeah.
It has to be Mexican, has to be this. Like, this is the way it just went. And then she brought it to our attention. Do you know?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh yeah, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's really a
How long you had that for? How long has it been
We just started, bro. It's just that show. They sponsored it.
I saw that.
And that was our first, kind of coming out
Intro
party.
To, okay.
And now we have Art Basel, and I'm doing one with Brandon Boyd for Moonlight Collective at Aspen.
Oh, you were in Aspen?
Yeah,
wow.
and we're going to sponsor that event.
Sick.
For his art. And I did a compilation with Brandon where he drew on my pictures.
Okay.
And,
he drew on your pictures?
Oh, dude, it's so
I need
rad.
to see that too, man.
Oh, yeah, you'll see it.
I'm listening to Incubus today, bro, because I used to love that band, dude. I haven't heard it so long,
what's
man.
good is I'm so over Pandora and this and that. My wife, and like, I went back and started listening to I'm like, oh, Sublime, Foo Fighters, early stuff. Rage Against the Machine and all the things that I've listened to on that trip. And I just got goosebumps going that it brought me back. Music can bring you back to a smell, can bring you back to a breakup. It can bring you back to the time where I was just in these little Orange County bars, just watching Sublime rip it up, just going, what was I doing?
Yeah.
In small little bars they were playing.
It's crazy,
Saw
man.
No Doubt in like a, tiny little,
in Orange County somewhere,
and Save Ferris.
Save Ferris?
Dude, just going to
I
festivals.
remember playing with them on the Warped Tour, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really go to concerts. Anyway, I got to go to that concert earlier with Sheila E. and Prince.
That's a sick
and then
concert,
I don't think I went to a second one until I was kind of in LA.
But that's your first Prince and Sheila E?
Sheila
That's
E.
so ill, man.
It was
your first one?
Unreal. But I didn't go to another concert till so long. And then Rick got me into going to shows. And my wife goes to a ton of shows.
He does.
And then I would only go to like on tour with Incubus and all that, and I would go to shows they went to.
Exactly.
They're like, we're going to a show tonight. I'm going to introduce you to a band that's going to blow your mind. And then you're like, oh my gosh, educate me more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I love.
You're definitely a sponge. You absorbed everything in your life.
Yeah. And then, totally. And I love music. And my kid, dude, this dude's bad.
Yeah.
He self-taught the drums. He's been playing since he was 2. Just always banging on something. Dude, his gift is, I'm going to send you a video of him.
My son plays drums too. That's amazing. Yeah.
And then now he's self-taught in quarantine how to play the guitar.
Oh, that's sick too.
And I'm like, was almost at first to not steer him away from the drums and get too obsessed with the guitar because I knew it was going to be so much harder and I didn't think he'd be able to do it. And I'm
Okay.
like, what advice am I giving you? I just went back on my whole theory of, bro, do what you love. And
Yeah.
dude, he blew my mind.
Okay.
He's listening to music and he's, Dad, check it out. I learned a Jimi Hendrix song. I'm like, nope, you didn't learn it. No one,
And
I
he's got it.
recognize that song.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, right?
Is he doing YouTube videos or something?
He listens to the song
plays
and
along
plays
to it.
along with it.
That's so amazing.
He's
dude.
got that tone thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's about to join his first band and he's got an audition coming up. And,
What?
yeah. And he's like, Dad, there's this girl and she's like amazing punk singer. She has this song called Homecoming Whore. And I just learned it in like, they want me to be in the band.
Holy shit.
What do I do? And I'm like, first of all, you learn all the music.
Yes.
You learn all the music. He's like, I know. And then every morning before school and after school, now he's in there with he's playing it over and over.
So cool.
And he's learning it. And so his first band might be this punk rock chick band that's sick.
It's pretty cool.
They're playing the Whiskey, I think, in 2 weeks. He's
You
not
gotta
gonna
let
be
me
in the
know,
band.
dude. I'll
He's
pull
not going to
up.
be in the band.
Okay.
But he's, that's the one
Trying.
they're courting.
That is sick, man.
So I'm like, no way. And he's just like, and I'm like, please be in a punk rock band. Your first band, it'd be such an education.
It'd be so cool.
Yeah, and he's got that. And Jose from Incubus came over and he said, can you help me set up my drums for a punk song?
Wow.
And Jose actually came over and I'm like, do you know how lucky you are?
This guy's here doing this. Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
like,
man. Yeah.
he's like, I know, bro. Yeah, no, Dad, but like, it's important because you don't know how to set up drums.
I don't
I'm like,
either.
no, that's not what I'm talking about.
It's like, who's the guy
I'm just
here?
like,
Yeah.
I'm just like the fact that you got one of the best drummers in the planet.
I know, coming there.
And then Jose got to listen, and he's like, Jose, because I asked him, like, is he gonna? He's like, no, dude, he's got it. Because all he has to do is know where the song changes.
Okay.
Then the rest is his.
Yeah.
Then he should make it his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like he should have a little bit of a flair and difference. And he's
His own
got
style.
And he's I'm not worried a bit. So then I'm just like all stoked for him.
You play instruments too? You play music?
I'm the worst.
Can't be too.
Yeah,
I
can't
try
even
to sing. Yeah.
Even when I sing karaoke, I act like it's a joke and I try to do the funny vert. Then it gets real long, and I can see people's faces. Like, all right, get off the stage. So I'm like, what is the shortest karaoke song ever? And I want to do
that one.
Yeah, because they have a Sublime song called "Tying on My Dinosaur,"
Okay.
and it was a song about doing heroin. And he's like, lying in my plastic bed, starting like a seabed night. And it's like 2 verses, and then the song just ends.
That's perfect for you.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, if wish they would get that on karaoke, because I would kill it.
yeah, it's
You
super
just
quick.
scream it for like, and it's 30 seconds long.
Yeah, I like screaming instead of
Oh
singing.
man, and I'm like, that's a good one. And then just drop the mic and walk off. It'd be perfect. You know.
Maybe they should do that. That'd
And my
be
wife
sick.
has a great voice, so it's super annoying.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Okay. My wife can't sing
Get
at all.
drunk. She's like, let's do the one from the movie with Gaga. And I'm like, no.
Gaga? Oh.
Bradley Cooper and
Oh, the
Gaga.
love
Like,
song.
oh yeah. I'm like, no. Please don't make me embarrass you.
Oh my God. I'd love to see you two do that one.
Oh,
that was a
man.
great movie, by the way. Great remake.
Oh God, it was
Incredible,
amazing.
man. You ever
And the
take a picture
first
of
one-
Gaga before?
I did at when she won her award backstage.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a great photo because she's outside backstage and all the photographers are taking pictures of her in the hallway. And I got behind everyone and she fell to her knees and she's holding up the Oscar and everyone has that picture. And I just screamed and I go, Gaga, turn around. She turns around and looks at me with her Oscar and looks at me. And I got all the photographers behind her as a
That is
wall.
fuck- I wanna see
And then
that.
she's looking over. I'll
Dude,
send it
that's
to you.
that's
It's
amazing,
like it's
man.
like the perfect BTS photo of that. Like that's such a special moment.
Wow, that's amazing,
Yeah.
man. Well, fuck, man, that's 2 hours. I feel
Oh,
like
man,
I feel like I could talk to you all for hours, man. Like
Well,
such an amazing
now that
journey,
we're friends,
man.
we will.
Yeah, bro. I really appreciate you coming
Over
here.
some
for
of
being on
this
the pod.
liquid death, dude.
I'm gonna send you some,
The
bro. I got you.
sparkling one, man.
You like
I
it?
didn't know. No, it's awesome.
Okay, I got you, bro.
It's
I'll send
awesome.
you.
Please.
I know some people there. But man, thank you for coming here and sharing your journey. I'm glad I got to go see
man.
your art, your show for your book, and you come here and when we're bonded by Brolin, and that's amazing. And
Oh, dude, there's my punk rock band, Bonded by Brolin.
that's a great name.
Oh, it's you just
We
came
could
up with
it
it.
could be a side band.
Dude,
me,
me,
play an
you,
instrument.
Brolin,
Dude.
and our kids.
That'd be so tight. But dude, congrats on your whole journey. Everything from Syracuse to here, everything you've done and put out into the world, and it's just amazing. Your journey's
Actually,
amazing.
you just gave
bro.
me another great thing that you got to remember. If I ever write a book, which
Ooh.
at some point I have to,
Yeah, you definitely
from
do.
Syracuse to here. Yeah. That's actually a good, because I do love Syracuse where I grew up. And
Yeah.
I do
It's your roots.
wish I could do more for that community. And especially the underprivileged kids there. And I should try to dig into how can I help my whole neighborhood or even do things? Because without the school lunch program they had, and this place called the Dunbar Center where I learned karate, and they had kickball and youth kind of things that were funded by the government.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they exist anymore, and I haven't really been back there in so long, and you're so focused that you don't want to forget where you come from.
I know you're talking about giving back. That's this part of your life. You're doing all that now. It's perfect.
Yeah. Long story short, and this will be another podcast, but the 23andMe thing. So my wife got me 23andMe for Christmas, and I found out I have a different father. And not only did I have a different father,
What?
I found out I got like 5 rad uncles, one that I went to school with, and I go to meet my dad through a phone call.
Yeah.
He died that morning. Respiratory, which
What,
I
recently?
think is COVID recently.
Oh my! Are you serious?
So now I met the new family, and I went back to Syracuse to meet all them, and we had a big barbecue. They're all Italian, like awesome. I love them. They're amazing.
That was recent. You went back and met them all.
That was just like 2 months ago.
Oh my God, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, it's a trippy thing, and so
That is insane.
Yeah. So it's funny that like you talk about brothers or family, and so
Yeah.
now that I've got that family too, I'll find myself back in Syracuse more because it's a whole new. I just gotta. My first family, we were kind of very all over the place and separate, and everyone moved to everyone else, and we never had a tight-knit family.
Yeah.
These guys are all about family.
Okay.
And they're like, you're one of us now, and we love you, and whatever happened, and Tony would want it this way, and like, you're my son, you're my nephew, and we love you, bro.
Sopranos vibe.
Dude, and they were like all Italian, there's another twist.
Wow.
I'm like, well, why am I not all Italian?
So what are
we'll
you?
Save that.
What are you?
I'm not even German, which I thought I was. I'm Irish.
Okay.
I'm 98% German. Sorry, not German. I keep saying that because my mom said I was German, Irish, Dutch, Polish, and something else. I thought that's what I was. I'm 98% British, Irish.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting. My mom told me and my brothers we were Cheyenne Indian our whole entire lives until we got 23andMe. We're not that at all.
No.
At all.
Yeah. My mom lied about me being Indian because you could go to Indian camp for free if you were Native American. I'm like, you sent a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, towhead kid to a all Native American
Oh my
for
God,
a week.
man.
I got my ass kicked for the first 3 days.
Oh my God.
Like I was like, it's the enemy.
That is crazy.
Like
man.
until I finally befriended someone. I'm like, if we're gonna fight, then you become friends after. I'm like, I'm just gonna fight the biggest dude.
Are you serious?
I did, no kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your mom did that.
She did that.
And then you found out 23andMe.
Yeah.
I hope that's super legit. It has to be. You met your family.
No,
That's incredible.
It's super legit because because you put it in the database. It's not.
Yeah.
My dad. I'm like, do you know this guy? He's like, yeah, but that can't be your dad. And my dad's like, I knew you weren't mine. And I'm like, what? He's like, we thought you were this other dude, some painter dude. And I'm like, wait a minute. Let's go back to you knew I wasn't yours. I wasn't positive, but I have my doubts. Your mom was a weird. I'm like, fuck you again.
Oh my God, man.
And then so it's science that put us together. Like,
Yeah.
no, my sister said we are a 50-50 match
Okay.
with all your siblings.
Yeah.
There is no getting out of a 50-50 match. You
No.
are from one parent. It's the only way you can be a 50-50 match.
Okay.
And then I have blood with all of the relatives and everyone. Like,
Wow,
you're a match here, you're a match there. It's just
Yeah.
DNA stuff, not like, oh, my friend. My dad knew exactly who my real dad was. He was, dude, I played ball with him. He was at my wedding.
Holy shit.
I was like, yo, there's some sketchy shit in the
That's crazy,
60s.
man. To find out later on,
Free
too.
love, yeah. And it just sucks that I never got to meet him because he loved fishing, he loved motorcycles, he loved all the stuff I did. And my uncle, when I met him, my Uncle Nick started crying at the party. He's like, you're him, man. It's and then my other uncle was like, it's like, he's like, I'm not bullshitting you, dude. It feels like he's here.
Wow, that's amazing,
Yeah,
man.
and they were just tripped out.
Wow.
Because,
That was a Christmas gift, 23andMe?
yeah, I wanted
That's
a
an
Mecca.
amazing
I bought
Christmas. Change your life.
my friend Rick, Mike, and all of us, we were going on a Mecca.
Okay.
My assistant Brandon and I'm bringing everyone to Ireland. And we're all going, because we all thought we were Irish. And we're like, we're going down, we're meeting some old men, we're having a Guinness at a pub, we're going to tour the factory, and we're going to take a car around the whole country, and we're going to live it up, and we're going to get a sweater and come back. And we did it. And then the COVID hit.
Wow.
And so my wife's like, I wonder how much Irish what if you have relatives over there? You know, you can do a DNA test. And if you have like second cousins, you can go meet them.
Damn.
She got it back and then got as soon as we put it in the database, pinged.
Wow.
Some girl's like, I think I'm related to Brian. And she's like, wow.
I need to do that. I did 23andMe. I never went back and see who I was connected to. That's interesting.
I mean,
I can
be
check my
careful,
account.
but it's scaring a lot of people. My friend's like, no, I'm good. I do not want to have that, nor anyone in my family do have that.
Wow.
We're fine with the way things are. And,
you
got
a whole
beautiful.
new family. That's incredible,
dude,
man.
a whole new life. It's crazy.
Fuck, man. Brian, thank you once again for being here. We can't get your new book, unfortunately. It's sold out. There might be a second pressing. We'll see.
Yeah, but you can still buy prints.
Okay,
pretty
Ooh,
inexpensively.
I can get the print of those 2 kids.
That's a gift from me.
Thank you, man.
You're getting that. I was already going to do that anyway, but
That's amazing.
just let all your viewers know that we have on bbsdrivebys.com. You can order and the prints. And I'm thinking, what do you think about this too? I'm dabbling about letting people buy any print from the book they want and offer it in 3 different sizes.
It's amazing.
Because it's like why am I gonna limit what I think people should like? Look, if you dig something, this is a book for other people. Maybe I should do that.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Yeah, Josh said that they have a huge print out of theirs at their house. Whatever, it's awesome.
Oh yeah, he got the big one, and he wouldn't take it out. He bought it.
Amazing,
which is awesome. And he's another guy who thinks
he's trying to buy my book too. I'm like, yo, you wrote you're my friend. I'll send you one.
But he's like, I buy it. You're my friend, and that's more of an important reason. I was like, bless you. But he's like, every time we go up the stairs, Westlyn looks at it and he's like, where's mommy? Right there. Where's daddy?
So
right there.
cool,
So
man.
it's got meaning to him now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, dude, I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Yo, we're going to end this on Bonded by Brolin.
Bonded by Brolin.
Brian, thank you for being there. It was amazing, man. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.